Story time, coming to us from an ancient rhyme. Witches, dragons, saints and kings, weavers of spells and magic things, forest of grass and mountains of dark. Here comes the story, hark!
Play Bryony. She is a half-elf grave cleric of Kalimdor, and she doesn't want to be a cleric, but she doesn't know any better. So it's basically just a big prank on her by everyone else of the temple, but she doesn't know that she can quit. And she's reluctantly here, but as you have probably found out in the last game, which I found out that you learned, is that she has lost her ability to feel pain. So I'm kind of stressing about her getting that sense back. Let's go to Ungo, our favorite goblin of the party.
Yeah. I'm David, and I'm playing Ungo. Ungo is a goblin. He's raised by elves. He's raised by wood elves that killed all of his family and friends when he was a baby. They tried to raise him to be a ranger, but he is a goblin and can't do divine magic, so he's just a fighter with a bow. He tries to act like an elf, but he's a goblin, so he's not that wise or intelligent, and it doesn't always work. And he ends up making a lot of jokes on accident. He's got a bow and a magic dagger, and he wants to be the on-point ranger leading and finding everything, and ends up being a joke half the time. And he is now the Green Baron of the Soggy Court. Yeah, we do. Ungo the Green Baron.
Don't think me and trying to do.
He does worship the elven god of archery, Solanor Thalandria, and aspires to be precise in all of his actions. Ungo lost his shadow and has no shadow, which is ironic because his name means shadow in Elven. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Chris. I play Mavis, a human bard, who, although he does display some upness when handling a musical instrument, it rather seems like his heart isn't in it whenever he's performing. For a bard, he's a bit brash, I guess, and he seems to lack real appreciation for the intricacies of human interaction. But nonetheless, he cares for his friends. Although he doesn't always know how to say things nice, he tries to help them. And he's here in the Feywild looking for something he lost a long time ago, which hasn't been revealed yet. So I'll keep quiet on that. I think that's it. So far, it's kind of boring, but I hope. Oh yeah. Currently, he's also known as the Knight of the Pickled Fly. I guess let's go in order. Celeste, maybe.
I'm Nicole. I play Celeste. She is a Circle of Stars druid elf. She has very pale skin and bright blue eyes and white hair, and she's always wearing this really sparkly, flowy kind of constellation-like robe. She spent most of her nights worshipping the stars and the moon with her family. She lived in a very secluded kind of clan off in the mountain that was centered with a big giant crystal that fell from the sky one day that they all worship. And she actually carries a quarterstaff with her that has a double-sided piece of that crystal on the top of it. She's kind of quiet, kind of stoic, but also really sweet once you get to know her.
My name's Todd, and I'm playing a Harangon, which is a Rabbit Man Ranger. His name's Slapney Dashiel, or Slapdash for short. Also known as the Pot Dodger around the goblins of the land that he kind of keeps one step ahead of, always on his toes. As of recently, is also known as the Pondflower Knight. That's a title he earned recently. He's got soft white fur that's clean but stained in a few areas from dirt and grass and something orange in one spot, which is a bit unexplained. Wearing sort of rough leather armor and boots, well-travelled, a belt with a few things hanging by the side, namely a couple of short swords that hang lazily there, and an unstrung longbow on his back that he travels around with. He's got very, very cute chocolate brown eyes that he blinks at people above his smile and always holds at his hand, asking them if they need a pull with something. And an unstrung longbow on his back. And I was going to do a voice for him, but every voice I designed came out like Bugs Bunny, so I decided not to.
You make it sound like it is a bad idea.
We'll see what happens when I slip into it. But that's Slapney. And that leaves Rebecca.
Hi. Eleanor Elysian, the Duchess of the Three Rocks. Well, as of now, as of recently, is a eclectic and charismatic former cultist and noble turned nomadic hermit for the last 20 or so years. She, yes, is a little bit fickle and a little bit out there, but has a kind heart in the end, and is always looking to help people in her own strange way. She's now traveling with her newest traveling companion, Slapney, and has now ended up in this precarious situation. And as a nomad, is used to getting into strange and weird situations, and is likes to go with the flow, and hence finds herself here with this interesting band of characters.
Yeah. So I think we went up into, I think it was Slackjaw Lorna's house, and had a bit of a look around, and then whilst exploring, the ladies of the party, I think, went down a corridor and shrank down to quite a small size. Made their way into a room with Slackjaw Lorna and her witch friend, whose name eludes me, and returned to normal size. There was a bit of a panic both inside and outside the room, but we all ended up inside the room. There was a bit of discourse, and then poor old Mavis ended up inside Slackjaw Lorna's large maw after being stabbed a few times by some flurry fast guy, without really having a chance to do anything to react. And I think Eleanor managed to talk Slackjaw into spinning him back up, and we quickly healed him and managed to talk our way out of the room by agreeing to do some favours. One of which was cleaning a cistern out, which we went downstairs and did, and found out it was actually blocked by a gelatinous cube, which burnt poor Phryne's foot before we, as a team, took it out. And then I think Phryne got back her sense of pain, and we had a bit of a discussion what we were going to do next. And I think there was a bit of conjecture as to whether we're going to follow down these paintings or look for the local resistance, I think. And I reckon that's where I hope I didn't miss too much there.
Those are the main points.
Right. Okay, yeah, so Mordwalk, he was part of the resistance, but not of the resistance to overthrow the current king or anything like that. What he was trying to do was help his friends to escape the clutches of the hag. So he was more anti-Borv Lorna than the sort of petty disputes between kings. He's really not got much time for that. But I think he's described to you how the current king is ineffectual and a bit of a sycophant. The Morgort, the guy that's sort of not Muckstump, is likely to be a much more effective king, but he's also a bit of a sociopath.
Oh, perfect.
Oh God! Wow.
The king keeps on changing every few days as well, right? We can't get the.
Well, it may be every few months, but they sort of talk it up as if they're always changing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think Ango found like a whole palisade full of heads on spikes.
Yeah, there were. We would have all walked past them when we left there.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we took the boat away from there. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of former monarchs over there saying weird stuff.
That's right.
Yes, the heads of a select few, the cream of the crop, get retained.
I made a few notes on what they said, and none of it seemed particularly useful.
Yeah. If you do head over to the south, if I look at where you are right now, I'm just zooming in on that, and you sort of just move on further down, you end up where there's the jetty and some boats, a couple of bullywugs around the place, and there's also a river that flows into this area.
Okay.
And you can see a couple of pairs of bullywugs with parasols, and one of them's rowing and the other one's sort of kicking back, and they're singing to each other or enjoying the dragonflies as they fly past.
There were some docks up here. Were there boats there?
Yeah, there were boats up there.
So it's probably across the water to the east here that we're trying to go.
So are the boats like, are they a fee to use them or something, or?
There's some bullywugs around the place. You could ask.
Okay, slap me and say, hey friend, can you give us a lift across the water?
Okay. Do you want to do a charisma check for me? Persuasion.
Like a persuade. Here we go.
First roll of the evening.
No! I think you offended them.
A natural one.
It
He says no, not for all the money in the world.
I thought you people don't choose money.
He says you can always swim. It's only 20 feet across.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Maybe we'll start swimming then.
Okay.
The water hasn't been too problematic so far, I guess. Yeah. Might as well.
What about those gigantic snakes?
Wasn't there a crocodile in the water somewhere as well?
There was up in like a guard barracks. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Do I see any crocodiles in the water?
Okay. Mavis is about 10 feet out. Roll a perception. I assume everyone's having a look. That's fair enough. You can have
21. Looks clear.
Yeah.
14.
Come on in. The water is fine.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. Ungo's going to jump as far as he can and then swim the rest of them.
Okay. Do you jump?
Oh, do the jump. Okay. I'm not jumping.
So you... Oh, is that Ungo doing the jump? I thought it was...
Yeah, I'll just jump as far as I can and then swim the rest of the way.
It sounded as very Slatney-like a thing to do. Okay.
He'd probably just jump all the way across.
Let's see.
Yeah, almost.
Now, Eleanor's not there. I'm just going to park her back a little bit so we don't forget. I'll put her with the boats, with the jetty. Okay, Phryne, you see something large and scaled curving through the water, like a Loch Nessie monster type of sort of curving shape.
Does the shape kind of look familiar to a particular wizard's tower?
It does not look like a snake. So the snake goes side to side, whereas this sort of breaches and then dives down, and you can see it's got a long line of spines all joined together with a fin along its back.
Phryne's gonna she obviously doesn't know what it is, but she's gonna go back to that memory of almost being squeezed to death by a snake, and she's gonna kind of just reach out, and it's slap me on the shoulders like, do you see that? Do you see that, guys?
Okay.
Alright.
It's just like pointing to where this thing is.
Slatney, you see
Slatney was saying,
another one behind it.
Alright, Slatney just goes, Mavis, you're going to get swallowed again.
Can you see
Look
those
out.
green dots a little bit further?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe I put
Oh,
them
is that,
maybe I put them on the wrong
I
way.
guess Mavis is gonna pick up the pace.
Okay, what I'll get you to do, just for shits and giggles, is roll initiative.
I mean, you can get across this water in one round, so
Yeah, I'm
fine.
afraid.
Yeah.
Initiative.
Yeah, so click on your token, select your token, roll your initiative.
11.
Okay. I'll sort them all out in a moment.
Oh, God.
Oof.
That's okay, she's on the shore.
And I better put some other... Where am I? Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So, first, Ungo's going to go, then the thing in the deep, and Slapney. Slapney, what's your dex bonus? I think you're going to go first.
Dex bonus is 3.
You're surely pretty dexterous. Yeah, so that'll be you, then the thing in the deep, and then Mavis, Celeste, and Franny. Ungo, what do you want to do?
I'd put myself across because I thought it took a couple seconds. Am I across?
No, you've just gone splash. So I'll put you as close
Okay,
as
so
you can
I'm like
to Mavis.
halfway across then.
Yep.
So I'll use my move to get on the shore.
Okay, so just half movement rate. So 1, 2. So you've just used 20 foot of movement.
And then what exactly? So I see there's some kind of apparently a creature in the water.
There's something big swimming in the water. Looks
I
like
guess
it's
I'll get
breached
out my
and
bow
dived
and
down.
ready an action in case it seems to be an aggressive creature, like if it attacks
okay.
Mavis or something.
All right,
I'll
so
shoot it with the bow.
readying an action to shoot the arrow. Okay, cool. Slapney.
So how deep is the water? Are they wading across or swimming?
They're swimming. The first 5 feet or so
Okay.
you're wading, but then it dips down pretty quick.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Slapney, yeah, he's just going to get out his bow and get an arrow ready. And yeah, if something comes up and tries to snap on anyone, he's just going to shoot an arrow at it
Sure.
as a ready
Okay.
action.
So is the barrage all happening? We need some action music.
Yeah.
Okay. A burst of water splashes out, and this creature, it's got quite a powerful torso, big shoulders and arms, like a muscly, biped, but the arms end in claws with webbed feet. It's got a large spear of some sort, like a spear gun, so clearly it's intelligent, tool using, and it sort of launches out of the water sort of waist deep and holds one hand out as if it's about to throw and looks around. It's got a sort of fishy face, but very broad and thick.
Is it a murloc?
A witcher what?
From like World of Warcraft? A murloc?
Yeah, we know.
So is it attacking Mavis or?
Yeah, so let's... It's going to go 1, 2 Slapney, 3, 4 Mavis, 4, 5 Ungo. But first, it's just breached, and it looks like it's about to throw, so that would trigger your
Okay,
launch.
sure, let's go ahead and shoot at it then.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Okay, how'd you go?
So I got 19 to hit.
19 hits.
I assume that hits, and I assume it's bigger than me.
Yes, it is bigger than you. It's bigger than
so let's
any
go ahead
person
and-
you've ever known.
Let's go ahead and add the extra 3 damage for the Fury of the Small.
Okay.
And that'd be it. So 12 damage.
Okay, yeah, it seems fairly easy to hit. I'll give you a picture.
Yeah.
It should show up in your thingamajob.
Glare. Okay, so can Slapney shoot that as well now?
You can. You go next.
Alright. Here he goes. 20, that's going to be a hit as
Armor class
well.
20 hits, yeah. This thing's come out thinking it's going to ambush you.
That's 7 damage from Slapney's
Okay.
arrow.
Alright, the 2 arrows go off. Spear in, it cries out in pain. So that was your 2 archers. So I'm going to roll my d6 for both of you two. Let's see, here we go. Alright, it's going to go for you, Slapney. And...
That was D4 though.
Oh yeah, just 1 or 2, 3 or 4. I'm skipping Mavis.
Not good and complete.
Alright, so this spear comes launching in at you and hits you with a 22. It does 15 damage. And where it spears through your thigh, it's barbed and it goes to haul on the cord that's attached to it, and you need to do a strength check.
So is this like an athletics or a save?
Just
or?
raw strength.
Raw strength.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Not a save.
Here we go.
Not a save.
Here we go.
Okay,
17.
So you've got a 17. It got a 9, and so you managed to pull it free, and it pulls its harpoon back in.
Out of his leg? How?
Hence the 15 damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Another one launches out.
Oh, shoot.
Another one.
Yep.
Oh, this is why you don't trap water.
I did say there was 2 of them. Oh, there was 2 that you saw breach, or someone did. But anyway, one is little bit further away, and it moves.
Another creature.
Yes.
Okay.
This is nothing like the Little Mermaid.
No, it's not like Little Mermaid at all. Little Ariel. And it throws at you too, poor Slapney.
Oh, okay.
It hits armor class 16.
16 to hit.
Doing 12 damage.
Oh my god.
And then, with its 18 strength, it hauls on this rope and pulls you in with a 12. What did you get?
Okay. Here we go. Come on, Slapney. Ah, no good 4.
Okay. It holds.
Can I do a reaction to grab him? Just to be pulled?
No. 2. And
All
it pulls him into the water. Let's see, so you'd be treading water at that point.
Okay.
Now you're not
So
grappled.
one hit, one left.
It just hauls you in, and it's enough to pull you 20 feet, but you're not grappled. It's not still through your leg or anything like that.
Okay.
And from doing that, it then moves across and opens this huge maw about 2 feet wide and bites.
Ah,
Whoa!
And bites as well. Oh, okay.
vicious.
Armor class 21.
Yeah.
You need some AC, Slapney.
11 damage. I think you just went
He's
unconscious.
down.
Franny, Celeste. You see Slapney in the jaw of this thing as it starts going gung 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 gung.
Well, those bullywugs could have warned us.
Mavis.
They said it was fine.
Yeah.
Rude.
They did.
Okay. Maybe first of all, I'm gonna use my movements if I can to get out.
Yes.
Go here.
Okay. You haul
that's
yourself
just-
up onto the shore.
Seriously, a man cannot have a simple swim without some kind of thing or another. Just muttered to himself, and I guess I will hold a spell. I will hold Mind Sliver until it's almost my next turn, if I can. The trigger will be the end of Slapney's turn, I guess.
Okay. We don't know when Slapney's turn is. He's unconscious. You could,
Yeah.
with it, otherwise it's a bit meta. You could say as soon as Ungo acts, you're going to cast your Mind Sliver.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get your Mind Sliver ready. Celeste, the horror.
Who are you going to cast it on?
The guy that's having some.
Celeste, what do you want to do?
I'm going to move first of all because I can't see anything that's going on. Cute.
Just going to up your volume a bit too.
And I'm going to wild shape with my starry form into the Archer as a bonus action.
Okay. The archer.
To cast Fairy Fire.
Nice. Dexterity saving throws. That doesn't sound like them so much. Okay. Right. We've got 2 dexterity saving throws. And the fairy fire goes off, glitters down. One of them bobs underwater and avoids it. One of them is lit. I'll just mark the one that's lit up with a red dot so you can see the fairy fire glittering all over it. Much easier to hit now. Advantage for everyone. And that your bonus action was to turn into the archer starry form.
Does she get an attack when that happens?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought you might get a shot at that point. You'll know better than us, Celeste. Otherwise, it's on to Franny. I can't even see you, Franny. Oh yeah, you're over there next to Celeste.
I don't think I get to do anything else.
It says on activation, you make a ranged spell attack.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, so you get 1 range spell attack then.
Excellent.
With advantage.
Do that.
With advantage.
With it.
Have they got health bars, or oh, you're not showing us?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll work that out while this attack's coming in.
D&D Beyond.
How'd you go? Oh, Celeste, now I can see the dexterity saving throw. I can't see the 2-hit roll.
Am I just rolling a d20 for that?
Yeah, you should in D&D Beyond. Oh, I see. You probably don't have this loaded as an attack. Yeah, just roll.
It's in the bonus
Yeah.
actions section. It's if you scroll down, it's there.
Second.
This is under bonus actions.
Ah. I knew I used it before. I was like, it's here.
Ah, cool.
There you go.
Okay, so 8 is...
And one more for advantage.
You rolled the damage, not the attack roll.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Natural 20. So you've rolled damage once, but if you just roll another d8, because you've already rolled 8 damage. Just a straight d8, we'll add them all together. Okay, so 15 damage from the starry formed archer. So Celeste looks like a constellation walking around, shooting arrows. Celeste, who was that at? The one that's biting Slapney or the one that's more injured?
She gets advantage on one of them, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It must have been that one, because that was the advantage one.
Those are the damage rolls. Oh, she rolled a 20 on the d20. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so Celeste, that's your turn. Franny, you're over there too.
I'm gonna cast Bane.
Cast what, sorry?
Bane.
Bane.
Oh, Bane. I thought you said Babe. Okay.
So they'll make a charisma saving throw.
Charisma? Okay, we've got a 15 and a 9, so the one with the dot, with the red dot, the fairyfied one passes it, but the one that's not fairyfied fails. So I'm just going to put a skull and crossbones for the Bane on that guy. So he's now cursed by the god of death.
So he'll now need to negate a 1d4 from attack rolls.
Yeah. Okay. Any bonus action or any movement you want to do?
Bonus action. And I'll class spiritual weapon and smack him.
Okay.
On this one. This one.
Spiritual weapon.
Why you want the one with the that I have a advantage on.
Oh yeah, here we go. Spiritual weapon comes flying in. Roll a hit.
That was not with advantage.
So you rolled an 18, but you might roll a 20 with your second one.
I did not roll a 20.
Okay. So 6 force damage. Okay. That means Ungo.
Okay. All right, so I have advantage on that far guy. All right, fine. I will just shoot my bow at the far guy and then move a little bit, I suppose. So I should have rolled that with advantage. I'll roll it a second time. So the second one's a crit.
Nice.
I guess for 12. And I might as well action surge and shoot him again.
All right.
Since he's got Slapney.
Yes.
So let me roll that with advantage this time. And that's 25 to hit for 4 more. And then let me move over here behind these rocks.
Yep.
I think those are rocks. And
They
I'll
are
just
rocks.
bonus action hide.
Okay. All right, so you're now hidden. Slapney, you're going to have to roll a death saving throw.
Okay, here we go. Can I do this on D&D Beyond or just do a die 20? Just a die 20. Oh, that's a fail.
Okay, all right, so you start to see, I think Celeste and Franny were in a good position. You can see sort of blood sort of trailing off into the water, into the lake with the flow. But he's sort of staying put right there for now. This one that's badly injured. Oh, Mavis, you go.
Yep.
You were ready with the Mind Sliver?
Yeah, so I was reading the spell after Ango. Stone, right? So,
Yes, and he's just shot his arrow, so it's up to you.
yeah, so that's intelligence saving throw.
And who are you casting it at?
The one that has slapping.
He fails.
So that's 1d6. That's 4 damage, and he subtracts 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of my next turn.
Okay.
So basically it's like 2d4. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, and then I guess after he goes, and then my turn.
Okay. He goes, and he sort of just basically dives down and swims deep underwater and probably off into this lake somewhere. The other one lacks the courage of its conviction and goes running off as well. Mavis. Slapney's there, face down in the water. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I can save him. I have spared the dying.
I've got nothing, so I would just ready attack with a crossbow in case they come back.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Now, sailing in, let's see. You hear this, ho, hey, ho, 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 and the bullywugs come racing in, rowing as fast as they can. And the one up the front has got a spear of some sort, a long one, like a long pole with a sharp stick. And these two canoe type things come in. They haven't gotten far enough to get here, but they sort of choke this point and say, "Did you see them? The ogres. Where did they go?" And they're looking all around.
What? Ogres?
Water ogres.
What? Friday just was very confused.
Yeah. I'm going to pop up from the rock. They went that way.
Okay. Well, they sort of fan out and go into, it looks like a well-practiced defensive move.
Hey! Before you go, can you pick our friend there? His lifeless body is floating, just, left of you.
Okay, yep.
Just push him towards the shore.
Okay, they get to Slapney and sort of just haul him in like a whale alongside a ship. One of them stands up and says, "He doesn't look too good."
We'll fix that.
Okay, Franny, it's up to you now. Oh no, Celeste, I missed you. Sorry, for Celeste.
I'm going to run up to Slapney and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. Suddenly, sharp intake of breath as he coughs and splutters and regains consciousness. The bullywug rolled him over. It didn't really think to roll him over. You had to do that. They just sort of forget that you can't breathe underwater. Or hold your breath for a long time at least. But Slapney, you're now conscious with full health.
Oh, he'll just cough up some water and just scrabble up on the side of the bank. And he'd just be repeating, "Slapney's not food, Slapney's not food, Slapney's not food."
Stew.
Yeah, I mean, rabbits are just too gamey.
Once he catches his breath, he'll just thank everyone.
Okay.
I thought it was a goner.
Did you say you were readying some sort of healing, Franny?
Oh, I was gonna cast Spare the Dying on it, but Celeste's got it.
Okay. All right. Well, these bullywugs say that this is a dangerous strait here. If you smell good, we'll give you a lift across.
Happy and say, "Look,
Thanks.
you smell good at least."
At least that's something.
I don't know about now, but at least before.
And they ferry you across,
All
Franny.
Slapney's just going to cast a Cure Wounds on himself as well, I think.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Good one.
So you move off,
Cool.
heading under another. Slapney's pretty much back to normal, other than being saturated, but about half. Still got some fairly stiff injury in your leg there, where the harpoon went through. You pass underneath another one of these clothesline type things, which now you know probably lead up into the mist towards Bavlorna's cottage. I'm just panning out here for a minute. And you pass. Oh, we don't need the action music now, do we? things have piped down a little. You pass by some sort of lookout, like a log tower. It's fairly muddy. You're sort of trudging through muck, and eventually, following further east, you get to a little walkway. Carrying on. Who's the boss here? Who's in the lead of this little ragtag bunch?
I'll go in front.
I think we should follow our stars.
Follow our stars.
Follow the stars. Okay.
Oh, no one star,
Be in
yeah.
the lead.
Celeste, where to?
Yep. Head up straight a little bit. Yeah. Up towards the path, maybe.
Okay. I'll move everyone else as a mob behind you.
Oh, okay.
Davis, did you say it was this way?
Apparently.
That could be it.
Go. Also, Anthony, let me know. My starry form lasts 10 minutes, so let me know when you think it would be 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is that a building we just went by?
Yeah, it was a tower.
Tower?
Like a guard tower, it looked like.
Okay.
You could hear some bullywug voices, but not a residence.
Okay.
Bullywug voices are from up the top.
Going
Guys,
down
wait
this
up.
way.
Just a second. Matt is gonna point in roughly the direction from which they came and cast message to contact our friend and the Baron. You know the one. Resistance, whatnot. How does his house look like?
You don't
No,
know.
we're friendly.
But you try it out, but you don't get a response from him if you did hear it.
Disturbance in the communications can mean only one thing: war.
Is there any bullywugs around?
Not here. There were some bullywugs talking up in the tower above.
Do we want to go check out the tower, or do we just want to keep going down the path?
Keep going. Going down the path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep going.
Maybe we'll find someone we can ask.
So continuing on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep you in this marching order, and then just move you as a mob. Okay, you can hear. Gets to a raised platform now, much more well travelled, and the walkway is on sort of stilts. Somebody's nicely oiled.
We are in the good part of town.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It looks like there's a residence further to the south and a little jetty leading off to it. And there's another one further ahead.
We think it is.
We're going to have a look at this one. Just check it out. See if there's anyone down there.
Yeah, sure.
To the south?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I don't suppose they have like those plaques at the houses with the name of the family living there.
You're still
Yeah.
you're still a fair way away, but when you get to it, you might see something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You get to. There's a frayed rope, and and it leads through a door that's closed on it.
Huh?
So think if there's a door.
A rope
it's
going
been-
through
it's
the
been-
door and closed.
Yeah, the door
Ah.
goes under it. It's like it's been jammed and slammed shut.
Do we hear
Think we
anything?
should knock? Or should we wait?
Is the rope
No.
tied to anything?
No title. This one looks well decorated, though.
Oh, is the rope tied to anything? What's the other end of the rope tied?
So the rope goes under the door, and the other side is tied to a hook on the side of the door. And you can hear a voice inside. Oh, not
Okay,
again!
listen for a
I'm
moment.
gonna go to live here.
Not again!
Yeah, knock.
Should we not?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna knock and say, hello, are you okay?
The door opens, and you can see there's a frayed rope, quite badly chewed, but it goes around and the foot of an enormous frog, a toad, and it's just squatting there. It's big, it's big. It's as big as a horse. And the toad looks uncomfortable as a pair of sticky webbed hands sort of push their way out of the mouth, and then you can see each of the fingertips has got a pad like a frog's pads on it. And the toad's jaws open as it sort of regurgitates a bullywug who sort of falls prone. And the guy lands on the ground and looks around exasperated but not frightened. Doesn't look like someone who's just been swallowed against their will.
Are you okay?
He looks up at you and says, hello.
Slapney's going to nudge Maves and says, "What is it about getting swallowed around this place? You, me, this guy? Everything's
Poke him and ask if he's okay. You okay?
I'm okay. I have a bruised pride. And he sort of stands up and shakes out his Elizabethan ruffle and puffs out his saggy shorts, gathered at the knees.
What's
so
your
let's
name, sir?
going to... Okay, that's what I was going to say. No, it's exactly what I was going to say.
He says, hello, I'm Vlonk.
Vlonk. Pleased to meet you, Vlonk.
I'm here keeping watch on the king's steed.
That's a steed.
The king's
And Brian just points at the toad.
Yes.
That's no fucking. That's like no steed of us.
Okay, well, good work. Let's go.
Seem to be okay?
He looks
Vlonk, do you know-
dejected. He looks dejected, and he says, would you mind just holding this rope and not letting this toad go out while I just rinse off a moment?
We might all need to hold on to the rope to just.
He's not dangerous, but swallow the guard is his favourite game. He'll vomit. He'll always spit you back out.
Ew.
Who
has
I'll tell you what, if you can tell us where Illig lives, then we'll do it for you.
Okay. Illig, straight down there, go right, just to the north.
Okay.
All right. Who?
Grab the rope.
Celeste, what were you saying? I missed it.
I'm going to grab the rope.
Okay, so you've got the rope there. Let's see. Ooh. The toad looks at you and just does that sort of blink with its transparent eyelids. And it sort of look at you quizzically, Celeste. How are you acting towards it?
Blink back at us.
Okay, can you roll either a nature or a persuasion, your call?
Can Slapney help her by like using animal handling or anything like that?
Oh yeah, you can give advantage by giving. No. Always look at them side on or whatever frogs do.
They're all animal handling instead of nature?
You can, because this is a tame giant toad rather than a one in the wild. It's a noble steed.
Did you say I can?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
How'd you go?
Oh,
You got advantage.
yeah. Not much.
Mavis and Franny up the back there, you see Vlonk head down to the water's edge and sort of dive in and start splashing and washing, rinsing off.
He should be careful.
Yeah, you definitely should be careful.
He doesn't smell good enough.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be alright.
I-
He's a fast swimmer.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think that's much of a difference. The murky water of a swamp over frog's secretions.
Yeah. Okay, Celeste, this frog looks at you and it looks a little bit coy for a moment.
Uh-oh.
And then it blinks a couple of times and then it sort of nods its head and then it starts going
Dear, oh dear. Join the club. Join the beat swallowed by an animal club.
Yep.
showing you the enormity of its throat pouch.
And try to grab onto her to hold her. Like, help her out.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
Okay.
myself as big as possible.
Okay.
Can Slapney try to like? Can he use animal handling to calm the frog down?
Oh,
Yeah, hey, big fella, whoa,
Steady
whoa.
okay. Yeah, so hang on, I can.
I mean, getting swallowed is not that bad.
Beg
I guess the
pardon?
trick is to not be conscious for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the giant toad behaves puts on its best behaviour for you, Celeste, and eventually Vlonk comes back about,
Okay.
I don't know, I guess 10 minutes later, and thanks you profusely, and says, I am forever in your debt, as if you've done this, slayed a dragon or something. And he's sort of preening himself. It doesn't look like it's warranted. He's just been swimming in this mucky water and he's in his sort of Elizabethan outfit. But anyway, he pointed out the Muckstump's hangout is directly to the north.
Okay. We're all wet too.
Yes, you are. You blend right in. Heading back to that north one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just follow his
Yeah, that's
direction.
Okay. You head north and you can see another slightly smaller hut. And it's a wooden door. You can hear some from the inside. There's some sort of
Is this-
bullywug conversation going on.
Is this where he told us to go?
This is Illig's house, yeah.
Okay.
Illig, that's his name?
Illig, the Baron of Muckstump.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna look at you guys and then knock on the door.
Okay. You hear a voice, clearly a bullywug accent. Push the note under the door.
Mavis, do you have the note?
A note.
Yeah, I do.
Is that Illig in there?
Yeah.
Confirm it's Illig.
Okay, I'm gonna say, first tell me your name.
You hear, this is the residence of the Baron of Muckstump.
Okay.
Can we make an insight check to make sure that it's not telling you?
You can do an insight check, but it'll be disadvantaged through the doorway. No body language here or anything like that.
Yeah. No good. 6.
Okay. You're not sure.
I mean, if the other guy sent us up here, I have a feeling this is it. He seemed pretty thankful.
What do you say,
I'm
Moses?
gonna show it this note. If that's okay with all of you. Just shove the note under the door.
Sure.
Okay. You poke the note under the door, and the door opens, and there's a bullywug eye in the middle there, and it sort of looks at you left and right, and then says, you're here, come in. And the door opens.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk in.
Yep, I'll follow in.
That's a horrible.
So, you can see as you go in, there's some cushions around the place. Standing just inside the door is a jittery-looking bullywug knight in resplendent, shining plate. Behind this guard is a wooden crate, and there's hunting gear piled all on top of it. And huddled in the back are 4 more bullywugs. You can feel the tension hanging heavy in the air as one of the bullywugs signals you, enter. And they seem to be drawing on the ground with a stick.
Yeah. I expected nothing, and I'm still somehow disappointed.
Rude.
And this is one of them you recognise as the one that sort of talked to you for a little bit, but the note just appeared in your pocket. I am the Baron of Muckstump. This is Vulp, Gullibek, Grundle, Krantz and Glorig. Knights, one and all.
I'll bow and say I'm a knight too. I'm the Pond Flower Knight.
Excellent.
Pleased to meet you all.
We can always get a strong arm adding to our mix. We'll be rid of this witless buffoon soon enough. And he says, we have a plan, and he proudly gestures to this sort of markings in the mud.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. A quick sidebar, if you don't mind. And Mavis is going to gesture to everyone to huddle up.
Excuse us.
Okay, you make your own little huddle. Are you going to draw in the mud too? They're all here.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know how to say it without sounding like a callous monster, but I think these people are morons, and the only way they are gonna be happy is if we just let them kill each other until no one is left. What do you think?
Well, we don't care about the frogs. We just want to know if they care about Lorna. We just need out.
I mean, yeah. From what I understand, all those frogs are kind of being controlled by Lorna.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they all kill each other, then there's nobody to be controlled.
But I think what's going to happen is we're gonna help these good guys get rid of the current bad guys, so then these good guys can become the bad guys.
Oh, listen.
You're quick to assume who's good, bad.
Well,
that's okay.
You know,
I guess
it doesn't matter.
The fact that we're here talking to these guys maybe thinks that we're kind of wanting to do something with them, but it just seems like there's this revolving door of these crazy monarchs.
None of that matters.
What's that again?
None of that matters. Mavis, do you want to kill Lorna?
Well, yeah, obviously, so that's why I'm suggesting.
See if they'll help
they
us.
kill each other.
See if they will help us.
Guys, maybe we should have discussed this before we came in here.
I thought it was obvious.
Mavis is just gonna look up from the huddle. Just one more minute.
Franny or Celeste, you're pretty quiet. Do you want to chip in with anything?
Shaking their heads at us.
Yeah, Friday last time we had pretty strong feelings about fighting, so what do you think?
When did I have strong feelings about fight?
I mean, you were pretty opposed to the idea.
was opposed to you fighting the hag when we were likely to die. Okay? I'm not opposed to fighting the hag. I was opposed to fighting her then and then.
See, let's get some help. We'll be good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we should-
have help, if we have numbers, let's take that bitch down.
And we
I
haven't
think
got
we
anyone
should-
else to help.
Celeste?
We should plant the seed with these guys to start preparing so that when we come back, we can fight Bevlorna.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Might be a little
entirely on this.
stronger.
Okay. So,
I am not really so clear on the matter of how they would be of help to us.
They can get eaten instead of you.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe not the best thing to say out loud.
Quietly.
you're looking over at them. They're not really listening to you. They've got these miniature using snail shells as if each of one is one of them, and they're moving them around their little drawn map, going dun 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 dun.
They're not taking this seriously.
It's like they're playing some sort of fantasy role-playing game or something.
I know.
Yeah.
That.
Freaking nerds.
I don't know. Just talk to them. See if you can come up with something. If not, fuck them. We'll go.
I mean,
I said they might have their own plans. So why don't we find out what their current plans are, and then either we can say that's cool, we can help you with that, or we can say, you know what, maybe.
Good luck.
yeah, but the question: what would we suggest for them to do instead? My idea is just have them fight the other bullywogs, so that they fight between each other. Hopefully, they all die, and we never have to talk with any of them ever again.
But then they can't help us.
That doesn't help us.
You hear this voice? I've got to come around and listen. And so
let's go
they
listen.
gather
See
you
what the
around,
plan
and he
is.
points with a stick, and he stands quite proudly. He's got a fist on his knuckles, and knuckles on his hip, and a stick. And he says, "It's simple and genius in its simplicity. I intend to approach Gallop the buffoon while he sits upon his throne, and I will pretend, like the great thespian that I am, to trip and accidentally stick him in the eye with my dagger."
Genius.
That is genius. That's better
I
than
did-
anything that we came up with.
And the couple of them.
I don't even understand why you wanted us here.
Yeah, what do you need us for? That's perfect.
Perfectly under control.
We expect some
What has-
resistance, possibly. If I don't penetrate his skull in the first hit, it might take quite a few.
You know, it doesn't really matter. As long as you get there eventually, the end is all that you should be
Yes.
concerned with.
Like chopping down a tree with an axe. You don't do it on your first blow.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Guys, we got an airship waiting for us. Maybe these guys have got themselves sorted out already. Start on backing towards the door.
there shall be a grand melee, and they all say, "Yes, a grand melee."
Is it worth having some sort of signal or call to arms, like some way to say now's the time to do this?
Exactly. The signal will be me tripping over.
Perfect.
Ungo raises his hand. I have a question. Mr. Illig,
Cunning questions, yes. Good idea.
what is your position on Bevlorna?
She is to be treated with caution.
Caution?
Whoa, you need to give her what she needs, or at least appear to.
Okay, well, you guys got it all figured out.
I do have a follow-up question. What if the thing that she needs is to be accidentally stabbed in an eyeball?
Well,
Accidentally.
as we've learned from our kingdom here, people don't remain at the top very long. Unless they have good friends, and they're all the four bullywogs around say, "Aye, aye, aye."
So do you think it would be beneficial to you if maybe Bavlorna wasn't in the top anymore?
Oh yes, I would move in.
I mean, that might be better.
Sounds good to me. That's a good idea. I will take out Gullop and my co-conspirators here, while you enter the cottage and do the same with Bavlona.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well,
But you know what? I think we, as a ruler, you need to have a legend, right? Have you? Every good king has like a legend behind him about how he rose to power and proved himself to be a ruler beyond all doubt.
True.
So, the way I see it, you should kill the current king, take the throne, and then all those dissidents, they will be like, oh, he took the throne by force and whatnot. What you do is just prove that you are the best that ever was and ever will by going to Lorna's cottage and then killing her too. This way, no one will be even thinking of killing you.
Can you roll a persuasion for me with advantage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Mavis. I'd vote for him.
Yeah, you'll go down in history. The best king ever.
I'll have to create a new position, a new job title. Emperor!
Emperor, that sounds good.
I don't know why it's not showing.
Slapney will just whisper into Mavis, if Lorna dies, do you still get your thing back that you're missing?
We'll figure it out, I guess.
You'll get satisfaction.
I mean, she had Phrynes as a physical object, so I'm sure she has the other one as a physical object too that we could find.
Next thing you know, it's
I don't know why my roll is not showing, so just roll.
Okay.
19 plus something.
Okay.
So
Well,
plus 5.
he warms to your idea, and he says, right, we'll do it. It'll be on my next audience when we meet, but if you lot just keep it on the down low, and I'll look after you after I ascend.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Like it.
You also keep our plan a secret. This meeting never happened.
Okay. He says imperiously, you are free to go.
That sounds good. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna ship waiting for us. Great chat.
And I'm gonna look back at everybody as we leave, and we're outside the door, and say, "Well, I think that's the last time we're gonna see him."
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just fast traveling you back now. This is a big map. Into your, and you make your way back. Get an escort across the river again with your newfound friends, the whaling party, and back to this large balloon where Morgort is still waiting anxiously.
Okay. Hey, Margaret, buddy, let's get out of here.
Okay, so you all climb aboard.
Wait a second. Do you guys want to take a? Maybe we can do it on the balloon. We take a short rest after that fight.
Yeah, how long do we expect the journey to take?
I would expect a number of days.
So we can take a rest on a balloon.
Yep.
Take a rest in the boat. Yeah, let's
It's quite large. It's about 10-15 feet across, circular, and you can see the balloon if I move you all across. Whoops. No, it's enormous. It's been recently repaired. And this will be its maiden,
like new.
Maiden voyage. Yep.
Slap me say, what? Why did it have to be repaired?
Oh, it's this is a Boeing balloon.
Okay.
It's a it's pretty tough skin, but they get damage from time to time.
This patch here looks like it may not have been applied correct.
Oh, that's only a very small. It'll only leak far less than we can top it up. And swamp gas. There's sort of methane or something slowly filling up this balloon, and it's
it smells wonderful.
And starting to strain, starting to strain against its cables, and a couple of other bullywugs come to see you off. And there's even the king comes down with some courtiers, and you can see Muck Stump there, sort of tapping his nose, as they wave you off. And suddenly the ropes are released. Morgwort puts his goggles down and gets his leather cap on his head, and then the balloon starts to rise out of the mist. After a few moments, you rise above this fetid layer of swamp gas, and finally you're up into starry sky above, and it's twilight, so you can still see some stars and constellations starting to come out or go down. And Morgwort somehow is steering the thing. There's lots of ropes and things coming from all over the place, and there's a few weights of soil around it, and he moves them around and whatnot. And as the balloon starts to drift off across the, you quickly lose track of downfall and leave it far behind. As you do rise up, you notice that the cloud balloon is gone. That had lightning crackling in it, and you rise up high enough that you would have seen it.
Can we determine which direction we're going? I assume with the stars and everything.
Yes, you're going. You're going west.
Cool.
Okay. So, as you travel, you go throughout the day, and it's uneventful, other than every now and then hearing animal noises beneath you, birds and so on. But otherwise, it's what initially is an incredible sort of trip starts to drift into monotony, and you sort of have some time on your hands to while away the day. Is there anything you want to do while you're travelling, or how are you going to be? Are you whittling?
Well, sounds like a long rest, right?
Yeah.
That's a very long rest.
Yeah. Celeste, you might want to change your prepared spells. I think you haven't updated it since you leveled.
Numbers.
Slapney's just gonna ask Phryne how she's going now that she can feel pain.
Oh yeah.
How are you dealing with it? Is it doing okay?
At the moment, everything aches. You think that magic would solve everything, but it doesn't solve the aches and pains and the general ache of going about day-to-day life. My feet hurt, my arms hurt, my legs hurt, everything hurts, and I don't like it.
But what about when something good happens? Is it better now because like there's bad stuff happening as well? Do you know what I mean? Like beforehand, when something good was happening, you wouldn't have thought much of it. But now, because bad stuff's happening, is it better now that good stuff's happening?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I think it reiterates the sense of feeling alive, being able to feel pain. Because I think that through this entire journey, even before I entered into the Feywild, as a cleric of Faldova, no, that's not it. As a cleric, and she gestures to like the Warner tabard, that it kind of just, it didn't seem real because I couldn't experience everything that it had to offer. Like trailing through the mud, the risk of gangrene, getting bit by undead and wondering if I'm going to turn into an undead myself.
Feet wouldn't hurt anymore.
Well, I hope you've found some sort of balance with it all.
Maybe I will find it.
After a time, you start to get sleepy, and Morgwort puts it to you as a group. Happy to just continue travelling, but he's going to need to rest as well. Should I be going down and we'll tie on to something?
How hard is it on the ship? Could we fly it?
Oh, I could give you a crash course.
Well, probably not a crash course, but
No, don't do that.
a flying course.
Well, just like a tutorial.
Yeah.
You have to sleep for 4 hours as an elf, so if I can get my 4 hours, I can spend the other 4 hours kind of keeping us in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, Morgwort. Show us how to do it.
All right. Anyone with survival or what is it called? You can get some like vehicles proficiency. You can get land or water vehicles or whatever. Obviously, no one's going to have
air vehicle proficiency.
Yeah, but having vehicles gives you some sort of transferable skill.
Yeah,
He's
so
gonna jump up.
Slapney's got
survival.
land vehicles, and he's got survival.
Okay.
Mavis got Jack of all trades, so
Cool.
it's
Being
half
a
of the proficiency
circle of
bonus to
stars.
everything.
Right.
Being a Circle of Stars druid, I have my star map to kind of help keep
Ooh.
us in the right direction.
Navigate.
Okay.
Between us, we should be able to fly this better than Morgwort, guys.
Yeah. So Morgwort will give
Yeah.
you the instruction on the how to physically manipulate it and control the direction it's going and the altitude. Slapney and Celeste, and with Mavis, I think you've got a half proficiency as well because of your Jack of all trades. So between the two of you as pilot and co-pilot, you can drive this thing. But with Celeste, I think as navigator. He gives you a bit of a. Celeste has a chat to you about the constellations in this area, in this world, and indicates some mountains that seem to be coming up in the distance, and says we're heading straight for those mountains. You can see between those two. It'll just be a wall of fog, but we're going to be going straight into that. And then he curls up in a.
Did you just say we're gonna fly straight into the wall of fog between two mountains?
Yes.
Will
What
you
could
be
possibly go wrong?
awake at that point?
Oh yes, well it'll be a while off now, but I'm very sleepy. Oh, and I'm gonna and he sits down and leans back, nods off.
Mavis, do you know any seafarer songs? Entertain us. Any shanties?
Yeah, I guess quite a few. I know. And he will start singing. What do you do with a drunken sailor? I know what's the title of that one, but that's the only one I know.
Classic.
Yeah.
So you while away the time telling each other stories, sea shanties or air shanties. Make up a few. You spend the day travelling and you get the hang of this balloon, at least good enough to keep it going straight. You know, you're not going to be sort of doing broggies and donuts and spectacular manoeuvres, but you can steer it. Celeste, can I give you a with advantage survival check, please? If you want to just roll raw intelligence, you can do that.
Oh,
Okay. Well, +4. Oh wow, you rolled. Was it a 3? 4. Oh my god. Okay. So by the time he wakes up and pops up and says, "Right, where are we? Hang on a sec." That way.
Buddy.
And he gives you a couple of minor course adjustments, and he sort of takes over for that next 8 hours, and you sort of go in a bit of a V, but travel another day, and this is actually pretty fast travel. You're going a lot faster than you can possibly walk through the swamp, and this big wall of mist comes up, and it seems to go up infinitely. You're going to go straight into it. And he says, "Now this is the tricky part here. I better take control here, but you grab that there, you grab that there, and everyone else, I want you to just tie, maybe wrap your wrist around a rope or something like that."
Okay. All right, do that.
And as you go in, the swirling mist seem to buffet you, and they seem to want to throw you back. And he says, "It's all right. We're just going to try and rebound off the currents." It goes fastest when you're closest to a mountain because the wind hits it, and then it goes straight up and over the top. But if we can ride this, we can go into another world.
That's a lot of words that trigger certain danger response in my brain.
He says, "I know, I'm over-explaining. You're probably just thinking, yeah, whatever you got to do, just do your thing. But, I like to keep everyone informed."
Sing your song and inspire him, Mavis.
And eventually, it does get buffeted, and I'll get everyone. You've got advantage because you're effectively tied on by grabbing stuff. Can do a athletics or an acrobatics. You can either just muscle it out or try and keep your balance with advantage. Okay, we've got Ungo with a 14. Celeste, is that with advantage? It's lucky you get a second roll, Celeste.
Not rolling well.
2 3s, all right. Slapney's okay. Ungo's got a natural 20. He's like surfing on top of the balloon.
I will help Celeste if she has a problem with my
that's true. Yep. Okay. This is where groups checks come in now.
Me too.
Oh no. Franny, what have you done? A 3 and a 2, but you've got a -1.
No, that's 1 and 0.
One.
It's -1.
Oh no, it's a roll of 2 -1. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, it's a 2 and a... All right, so
I'm gonna get thrown out of the balloon.
yes.
See?
No, you don't. It's not about getting thrown out, but it's about taking damage.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ungo, you've got a Sophie's Choice moment. Franny's going one way. Celeste is going the other. What are you going to do?
I'll grab Franny.
Okay, you grab Franny.
Can Slapney help as well, or?
Where were you, Slapney? No, you're busy hanging on for yourself.
Okay.
Ungo's just got a chance to get a crit.
Maybe Celeste can turn into a bird or something and save herself.
2 passes. And Celeste, can you take some damage? It's coming. 9. And can you roll a dexterity check, please? Make it a dexterity saving throw. Oh, okay. And you go sailing off the side.
Can bird? Can Slapney use his reaction, his rabbit hop reaction, to jump over and try and grab her? Or he goes over?
Yeah, what's the reaction?
So, where is it here? Rabbit hop. As a bonus action, you can jump 10 feet without provoking an attack of opportunity. So it's just like, it's a bonus action, not a reaction, sorry. Yeah. So you can just jump 10 feet.
Lucky footwork.
That's right, yeah. I'm going to mix up now.
Yeah, okay. We'll give you and... Oh, no, that's not really right either. I was going to say initiative, but then it's actually in Celeste's interest not to win initiative. But this is more just about who goes first. Yeah,
initiative
okay.
For me and a win.
Yeah, I'll let you use your leap to basically leap. You've got your one hand on the rope, and you're going to leap off and try and grab Celeste.
Okay. So what should I roll? Should I make for that?
Again, just a dexterity or a strength. You're effectively giving her advantage, but you're using your own rather than her roll.
Okay, so acrobatics or athletics?
Yeah.
One of those? Or, yep. Okay, I'll do the same for me anyway.
How'd you go?
What did I get there? 19.
Okay. All right. So you've got this ankle, and Celeste is sort of hanging off the side of the thing. But you managed to. She's taken damage. She's sort of scratched up on her leg, and the cane and so on has scratched you up a bit. But you managed to haul Celeste back in over the edge.
Okay.
Celeste?
I gotcha.
Damn it, right?
Pull me in. Pull me in, guys. Pull me in.
Help! Help! I like this.
Okay, and you pull in. You've got all bleeding on your leg. Big sort of gouge marks there from where you'd thought you'd be clinging on, but you got sort of pulled some of the wicker away. But you are alive. You go sailing through the mist, and this balloon goes up and over the top, and then and you sort of crest the worst of it. And he says, "I think it's going to be okay from here. We're starting to go through the natural tunnel between worlds."
All right. Between worlds. Wow.
And you all sort of sit down back against the back of the basket, rest, and fall into, again, a sleeping long rest, and as Morgawort sort of cruises on through the rest of the night. You awaken to the smell of a rich, earthy forest. It's still twilight above, but that sort of methane, swampy, mud, rotten smell's gone and replaced with the much more rich and alive smell of a dense forest. You also go up...
Feels like home.
Sorry, what's that?
I said feels like home.
Feels like home, yes. And this is now looking over the edge. Looks like the doorway that you could have gone through from the tent. I think Celeste or maybe Franny, you both might have seen that.
Yeah, when this is where we could have won when you guys ran through the mirrors.
However, you also have gone up to level 4.
Oh wow!
Ooh, nice. I could feel like we did absolutely nothing between level 3 and level 4.
You dealt with
Milestones.
you dealt with Bavlorna, Baron Muckstump.
Yeah.
Bavlorna was the big one.
Yeah, I guess that builds up character getting swallowed.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it really
character.
does.
It's character building. Yeah, so you can level yourselves up. It's a brand new day. You've got your whatever spells you prepare as this balloon comes out of the mist and then starts to lower towards the canopy of trees. Just there's a like a mountainous undulating canopy. And I'm going to move us to another map. In fact, I might grab...
Anthony, do you mind if we hold off with the choosing of feats and stuff for?
Oh yeah, because it's a level 4, right?
After today.
Yeah, because it's ASI or Fate, yes?
Yeah, so I still haven't figured out what I want, so if I can do it later, that'll be nice.
No problem. I'm just getting a map up now. Bear with me.
Cool.
More
Okay.
spells.
Yes.
So many spells.
Now, I've made you all half-sized from before, just because it's a different type of map scale. So I'm just ballooning everyone back up.
Alright, you might hear some background noise because it just started pissing down rain.
Oh, did it? Wow.
Like really heavily.
Wow. Okay.
All right. That was a good level gain.
I got sharpshooter.
Oh, really? Yikes.
Nice.
That's DM killer.
I didn't have enough. I didn't have any like static damage additions for like extra D4s or Hunter's Mark or Sneak Attack die or anything. So
Yep.
let's grab that.
Okay. So the balloon comes through. It's Morgwart's starting to bring it down. There's foothills at these mountains. There's a wall of mist behind you, so it's like there's a clear end to the world. You've just entered. It's no longer misty or foggy or anything. You can see your full distance, and it goes for miles. Just an endless sea of forest. As it descends, you're all sort of looking over the sides and looking down. He's trying to find somewhere to land. It's at that point that you hear woof, 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 and it's coming. And you look around, and there's this massive wing beats from somewhere. And then the wing beats just stop. Woof. And then there's this crack and a flash of light, and you're all looking, out of your basket around, and this flash of light, like a fiery ray, comes shooting out of the bottom of your balloon at like a 45-degree angle, and sailing on past you down maybe 90 feet or so. And looking up, there's this gaping hole in your balloon. It's actually burnt in a ring around the balloon, probably about 5 foot wide.
And how high up we are? Not 100 feet, did you say? 90 feet?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of feet, okay. And something's just gone flying through the top of the balloon, down through the basket?
You heard some wings above the balloon, probably. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
But a few moments later, as soon as this fiery ray comes shooting past, this enormous shadow passes across your balloon, and you see this green serpentine creature, 4 legs, long tail, and it sort of screams this horrible sound.
How big is it? Big.
Yeah.
Big.
And sorry, its fire ray went through the top of the balloon and down through the basket.
And went through the top of the balloon and continued through the other side.
Oh, okay, right.
Like a lightning bolt. Like a lightning bolt, Okay,
And
so
putting
2 holes in the inflated actual balloon part, not in the basket.
Yes, not in the basket.
Okay. So we're gonna die.
And
how's Morgward reacting to this?
He's looking up. He says, "Oh, we're losing air," and he sort of starts to pull on some ropes. And what they do is he says, "Pull on this as hard as you can." And there's like a network of ropes going around the whole balloon and coming down to where you guys are. And where there's a hole, he sort of starts to pull, and it sort of cinches it in, at least sort of starting to pull that hole a little bit together, sort of tightening up one. So it's no longer round, nicely plump, but it sort of mishappened and losing air a little bit less quickly.
Okay, is there anything we can do to help him, or?
Oh, definitely. He'll say, "Can you, quick, hold on these and see if you can find which one will stop the hole in the top, because we can't see that."
I'm just going to ask him, do you have any patches to patch this up? Like little squares of the same material that the balloon is made of?
Who to Mogwart?
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know if it's something that we can do on the fly.
I don't know if it will work, but it's worth trying. Mavis will use his newly acquired mage hand to grab the patch and kind of float it up, and from inside of the balloon put it against the hole, so that the pressure keeps it in.
Yep, no worries. So start doing some field repairs. I'm going to show you a handout here.
Jabberwock.
What the fuck is that?
Beware the Jabberwock.
And this creature sort of beats its wings twice more, gaining a bit more altitude again, and then starts to bank and bank and swing around.
Is it coming towards us back again?
He's coming right for us. That gives him free range of shoot, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'm gonna ready Dissonant Whispers, and as soon as it's within 60 feet range, I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay, Franny, what were you saying? I missed your line as well.
Blindness on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blindness is good.
Blindness. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like it's going to be arranged pretty quickly. Mavis is going to cast a Dissonant Whispers. Franny's got a blindness ready.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to ready something?
Slappy's going to get out his bow, and Hunter's Mark it once it's within 90 feet, and have a shot.
Hunter's Mark.
I'll shoot at it too.
Yep.
I'll sharpshooter at it.
Yep. So you can sharpshooter at it. Yep. Take a -5 and see how it goes. What about you, Celeste?
Fairy fire, so everybody gets advantage.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see what can happen. I'll jump back to the chat. Okay. So the creature comes in. Fairy fire goes off. It gets a save, I believe. Dexterity?
DC 13, dex save.
Okay, it fails it. And so suddenly it is lit up, sparkly as ever. Okay, blindness. I can see it in there. What's going to happen there, Franny, with the blindness?
It needs to beat a con save of 13.
Con save. There we are. Okay, it fails that too.
Oh, nice. Good work.
Is it blind or deaf?
Blind.
Blind.
Okay, and next.
I guess that will be Mavis with his Dissonant Whispers. That's DC 13 Wisdom save.
Okay. Wisdom save. Okay. It fails that as well.
So that's 10 psychic damage, and it has to immediately use its reaction to get away from me as far as possible. I'll put the spell in the chat.
Okay, Dissonant Whispers in the chat, is it?
Yeah, should be. It has to take its reaction if available to run away as fast as it can.
Okay. And it was how much damage? 10 damage. Okay. And next.
So that's 10 psychic damage, and it has to immediately use its reaction to get away from me as far as possible.
Okay. And it was how much damage? 10 damage. Okay. And next. 10 damage. Okay. And it was how much damage?
10.
Okay.
And that's psychic, if it matters.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Okay, so we got Dex save, we got Wisdom and Con. We need Strength and
yeah, and 2 shots.
Charisma.
yeah, and Charisma.
Hunter's mark goes off.
Go.
Yep, Hunter's mark
okay.
goes
Did
off.
you
Take
shoot,
a
okay?
shot.
Or you want me to? Okay, I'll shoot.
With advantage. Verifier.
22.
Okay.
Do 6 plus another die 6. So do 11 damage.
Oh. Okay, and Ungo.
I got 19 to hit for 21 damage with my Fury of the Small.
Wow.
You also have advantage if you want to try to go for a 20, but...
Yeah, I used it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 22 damage, because my Fury of the Small does 4 damage now.
Ah. Alright, so you've just pumped all these arrows in. There's blindness, psychic damage, it's bleeding from the ears. You're not sure about the blindness, though. It's really hard to tell what's going on there. If you look at carefully at the picture, you can see it doesn't really have... It's got eyes, but they just look like these big white domes.
Well, does it?
When I shot with Sharpshooter, I shot at one of those big eyes.
Yeah. And it sort of looks in your direction and screams, and this shooting ray of fire comes out of its eyes, completely missing, like a ray, twin laser beams, and it's like a scorching ray of fire. However, and it shoots for, I don't know, past beyond 100 feet. It's going to have to be very lucky here. Okay, and the ray shoots past and misses the balloon completely. It looks like it's going for the balloon. Now, where's the Dissonant Whispers? I need to just go and find that for a minute.
On its reaction, so after I cast it, as its reaction, you must have run away.
Yeah, okay.
It's full movement.
All right, and then it peels off and goes belting off, flying at full speed. Which you can tell is pretty fast. And it's keeping the same...
You better run away!
It's keeping the same altitude, but it's beating, as fast as it can.
Okay.
How long is that going to last there?
It's just one-time thing. So it uses its movement, and after that it can come back if it wants.
Okay.
Yeah, but the point is it used up its movement, so it now needs to make that up and then move again if it wants to get to us.
It keeps climbing over the following rounds and carrying on away from you.
I'll keep my hunter's mark on it for an hour.
Yeah, okay.
In case it decides to come back.
Okay. So from here, the balloon starts to fairly rapidly descend, though. Morgwart's looking very worried, looking for a spot. Eventually it comes getting so low, if you imagine there's canopy leaves brushing past, and you can see now forest creatures in the canopy above. And eventually they start to bang onto the side of your basket. You're actually now pretty close to the top of the trees. Anybody doing anything particular there, or are you just hunkering down?
Can we help him?
Ready to jump off if we're about to crash.
Yeah, look, well, you're definitely about to crash.
Can we see any like spots for him to, help him find a spot to land down into, or is it just?
Yeah, you can help. I think there's two of you can help to steer it. Like you can't have, 6 pilots or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess with Slapney with your vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah, so he gives you orders and tells everyone else, just hang on, unless there's some other way you can save yourselves. and eventually the whole basket flips on its side because it's going to hit first, and then bumps and then scrapes and crashes, and eventually it sort of stops, and parts of trees go spearing into the balloon, and it's sort of hanging there limply.
How high above the ground are we?
You can't quite see the ground. It's dark beneath you.
Well, damn it. I guess we better climb out. I mean, we got ropes. Let's tie a rope and just climb down and see if we're close enough to the ground.
Yep.
I'll climb down.
He's got plenty of rope. If you wanted to use a rope and just hut down the tree trunk.
Yeah, I'm going to just climb down and see how far he can get. How high are we?
Hold the rope and try and help him climb down.
Okay. All right. How about, so Slapney's going to go down the rope. Franny?
I'm not really good at climbing. Franny's not good at climbing.
Yeah. Not a climber. Not a natural.
She's not. She doesn't have any skill in dex.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how high above the ground we are so I can report back to the group.
Oh,
and they
okay.
can make
All
a
right.
decision.
So Ungo huts down a little bit. Can you give me a climbing check with advantage?
Athletics?
Yeah, athletics.
It's athletics, right?
Athletics.
Okay. I'll take 18. That's good.
Okay. So you climb down, have a look around, and you can see you're probably about 200 feet.
In the air?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're hundreds of feet. I yell up at him. That was the rope all the way down to the ground, 200?
Yeah, Morgwort can do it. You can splice enough rope to get to the ground.
It's pretty far, guys! It's like hundreds of feet!
Mavis is gonna cast message to Ango. Have you considered not yelling to everything that might want to kill us in?
I think you're in danger!
What about you, Celeste?
I think we should climb down the rope, but I'm going to prepare to turn myself into a bird if I fall.
Okay. All right. You might not be able to do a flying creature yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I can.
But you could do a spider monkey or...
or like a little marmoset.
Yeah, I'll turn into a spider monkey so that I can climb down it.
Okay.
You turn into a giant spider, they gotta climb speed.
There you go.
A giant spider is, I think, half CR.
All right, so Celeste turns into this monkey and just scarpers down, and within a few moments, Celeste, you're at the ground.
Do I see anything around? Does it look safe?
Yeah, it looks safe. There's big tree roots crisscrossing everywhere. It's earthy humus, lots of moss, stuff like that. Dry ground.
Okay, I'm going to yell up to Ungo to tell them it looks okay down here.
Well, I'm on the ground with you.
Oh, are you? I thought you were like halfway up.
No, I went all the way down.
Okay.
All right. So Ungo's down. Morgwort offers Franny, if you're a bit worried, I could, if you want to climb, I could tie a rope around you and I'll try and hang on to it just in case.
Mama didn't raise her quitter. Then again, Mama didn't raise me at all, so I'm just gonna try and climb down.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no, but it's athletics, so I have a +2.
Okay. So do your athletics.
Yes,
Oh my god, natural.
Nice.
Look at that.
All right,
I
natural
didn't
20.
even need to climb down. I just abseiled down like a fucking champ.
All right, you can join the SWAT team now.
Like a commander from a helicopter.
Yes, you land in a crouch. Are you gonna flick your hair up?
It was just like my hair up, brush myself off. It's like that's never gonna happen again because that is like that luck once in a lifetime.
Right.
While they're coming down, let me move away a little bit and try and scout and see if anything's going to kill us.
Okay. So you don't see anything.
So I guess maybe this is next. Or...
You go for it. I'll follow. I'll take the... I'll
Okay,
come down
Mavis.
last.
12.
Okay. You get advantage because you've got a rope.
Oh, nice.
Can we use acrobatics? Oh, it doesn't make any difference to me anyway.
Yeah, that's worse.
Da, da, da. Okay. Yep, you're fine. You get down the bottom as well.
Okay,
Nice.
Slapney will slip down afterwards.
Yep. It's scary. It's exposed, but it's pretty easy climbing.
21. Before Slapney goes down, as he's just getting over the edge, he'll say to Morg, "What are you going to do?"
Well, I'm going to try and repair this thing.
Okay. I guess so. We'll come back here and climb back up once we.
If I see, I'll wait here for what? A couple of weeks.
Weeks?
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Sure. And we'll give 6.5 tugs on the rope when we get back, so you know that's us.
Okay.
6.5?
6.5.
Okay.
Did I say weeks?
You said weeks.
Oh, days. Yes, I meant days.
Yeah, I got 10 silver that says he's gonna be dead by tomorrow.
All right. Okay, Slapney, you're down as well, and you're all now in this deep forest. He says, so Morgwet says, okay, we're now in Thither.
Thither.
I can escort you back to back to Hither, if need be.
It's Gabitha's realm.
Yeah, so did any of you ask about any directions?
I assumed he was coming down with us.
The only thing is, there was only really north to go. You've come from the south and entered this realm.
Ah, that simplifies things.
Of course, it sort of fans out to the left and right as well, but if you can imagine it as like a big, circular domain, you don't know exactly what shape it's going to be. But you've now entered the land.
I'm also going to stay a monkey for the full 2 hours.
Okay. What have you got? Have you got a monkey in your list?
I don't think so.
Maybe we saw one in the trees just now.
No, I just if I can pick one, that's all. Bugger. There's a cat.
Cat, monkey.
Yeah, actually, I think there is no proper monkey in the list.
Oh no, I just mean adding for the flippable token to change the picture.
Oh, I thought you mean like beasts from the monster manual.
No, that's right. Okay, so you're heading north. Does that mean, Celeste, are you still point as monkey?
Sure.
Okay, I'll keep Eleanor out of it for now.
I'm going to kind of go a little ahead, kind of in the trees, jumping from tree to tree.
Okay. All right.
She's scouting ahead.
Okay, so you find your way. As you move along, you see these huge trees, like they're the size of houses, but they then go straight up, hundreds of feet high. There is a bit of ground cover as well, so, bushes and shrubs and things, but mostly fairly clear. What makes it difficult going is more the undulations from roots and rocks and things, but that makes a multitude of places for creatures and strange plants to get purchase.
Okay. So we're looking for what's her face's sister, aren't we? Lorna's sister, right?
Scabitha.
Yeah.
Is there
anything
any-
you know about it?
Or
No,
can we
you-
see any left?
No, you
or anything,
don't.
or-
Much like Bavlorna, you don't. You the creatures of the realm guided you to Bavlorna when you're in Thither, but you didn't really find out much about the other hags or their realms.
I think we know that pig-faced girl we found was with Scabatha.
Yeah, they were associated.
Ooh.
Hey, Celeste,
And
can you
she-
talk to the animals at all? Do they know anything?
Do I see any animals around?
Yeah, definitely.
Can I talk to them and see if they, Are there any monkeys? Because I guess I'm a monkey right now.
Roll a nature check. See if you can find something. Yeah, that ape at level 4 is more for gorillas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got a climb speed of 30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of weird that they don't have start block for a regular
Yeah.
monkey.
Celeste, you find a troop of monkeys of like-minded individuals. And
They
with
know
your
where Scabatha lives.
they speak to you in their sort of monkey screeches, and because they don't actually have a language, it's just animal talk. And they say, oh, they don't know what a Scabatha is. They're not saying this in that terms, but they just are confused about the word Scabatha, or even, but they know the concept of directions. But if you're, they get the idea that you're asking for about something unusual, and they're pointing out. They start out pointing to you where all the great fruit is, and that down that way a bit further on, there's a tree that's, if you go there in 2 weeks, it's going to be ready. All the stuff that's important to them. And if you're new in
I'm gonna kind of.
this parts, there's a tree up there that's very good nesting material.
I'm gonna kind of point towards the group and be like, "People, are there more people?"
And they point in the way, and they say towards the golden light. And one of them even gestures to you and says, "Come, we'll show you." And
Everybody else is.
for the rest of you, you sort of look up at this troop of monkeys, and one of them looks down to you and goes, "Rah, rah," and then points that way and gestures or something, I suppose.
Gee, Skip.
That'll be lost on half our audience.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's from an Australian TV show. Okay, and so Celeste, are you happy following along with your troop of pals?
Yeah, we'll follow the monkey.
Okay, all right. So you follow. Well, you follow the monkey and her troop, and you make your way for about half an hour or so until you find the ground rises a little. It opens out somewhat. It looks like there's a natural cave. Coming out of this natural cave is a bright, brilliant golden light. Oh, you've just found heaven, gates of heaven.
That's
Looks like it's a good place to start, isn't it?
And I'm just going to move us to the gates of heaven map. Not Heaven's Gate, that's a different thing.
I'm gonna thank the monkeys and then turn back into a elf.
Okay. They say they don't normally abide other monkeys coming into their territory, but you're different.
Oh, I mean, she's not really a monkey.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see.
Yeah, Eleanor with us.
You know, I like to think Eleanor this entire time is just obsessively sewing herself a hat.
She's like, I'm gonna get that witch's hat. Even have to do it myself.
Yeah.
Eleanor stayed back, right? She stayed back in Thither?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
How happy will she be if we can find a witch's hat for her?
Oh, she would love it.
Look what we've got.
There's a cozy golden light radiating from this cave. 20 feet from the cave is a tree with a weathered sheet of parchment nailed to its trunk.
Is it nighttime?
Twilight.
Okay.
Sorry.
Head over to the trunk with a bit of paper on it.
Okay, you have a look at it, and it's got a face drawn on it, and it has "wanted" written on it.
Uh-oh.
I'll show you a handout.
Is it how good? Okay, good, yeah.
And in familiar face?
No,
Okay.
but I can show this to you. Can you see that now?
Oh, nice.
Oh, here it is.
It's got a
Oh, there it is.
It's got what looks like a young boy, and it says "Wanted, Will of the Feywild, special offer."
Will of the Feywild. Special
Bring me
offer.
this imp alive and unharmed. I say, bring this. What does it say? Impetuous brat.
Impetuous brat.
Yeah.
Granny Nightshade.
Bring
That's
this,
Scapha.
bring this impetuous brat to me, and you can claim one item of your choice from my workshop. Granny Nightshade.
Ooh.
Granny Nightshade, alright.
Is Granny Nightshade like nickname, like, Slack Joe Lorna kind of thing?
That would be... She's Scabatha Nightshades, right? So I think that would be Scabatha.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, Scabatha Nightshade. Gotcha.
And so that's on the tree, and you can see this, now that you're fairly close, this golden light is actually coming. There's a torch just inside the cave entrance, but the torch light is reverberating off all this gold. And there's a man sitting on a stool, and he's at a spinning wheel, looking bored.
Head over there.
Okay.
Are we still limited? I only see 40 feet on the map. I was just wondering if we're still limited like that. Is it foggy, like in the swamp?
No, I will adjust those as we go, but you can
Okay,
move
cool.
yourselves about and... Ungo, what's yours night vision normally?
60.
60.
Looks like it's full of gold.
Mavis?
What is all that?
60?
I don't have dark vision.
Okay.
Yeah, neither do I.
Slapney?
Yeah, no dark vision.
Darkness everywhere.
And what about you, Franny?
I do, but I've been up since like 4:30 and I'm like falling asleep. Been up for like maybe 16 hours.
As in
I'm
you,
sorry.
you, Claudia.
Yeah, it's Claudia.
Yeah,
I might
no
have
worries.
to dump.
Yeah, if you want to
Head
bow
on.
out for tonight, that's fine.
Say that.
Okay,
I'll figure out a way to slightly
that's all right.
write
We'll be
myself
standing
out of a
guard.
narrative.
Watching over our back.
That's fine.
Stay
we'll
with
be
Morgward and
Morgward.
fix the balloon.
Yeah, we'll be taking our break shortly in any case. But yeah, if you want to bow out now, this is we'll be role playing on if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do what you need to do.
All right. And what about you, Slapney? I just want to check your night vision. No,
He's got no night vision.
but I think Celeste, you do.
Yep, I have 60 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, oh.
All right. So
Question. Is it supposed to be complete darkness?
it's supposed to be twilight.
Yeah, I see absolutely nothing except for
So it's
myself.
dim light?
Okay, so what I can do, I'll adjust that now for you.
Can you have a second? Could you put my token back to my regular
now
form?
I see absolutely everything. Like
That's
every
okay.
corner.
Well, you should be able to see dim light everywhere. Like that's
You can, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also see like past the trees and all that.
Yeah.
This is just a very local trees and cave thing. That's all right.
So we're heading over to the guy at the spinning wheel.
Yes.
Is that what's all that? Is that gold? What is that?
It's gold everywhere.
Well, being a goblin, Ungo is stunned. His eyes are wide. Going, so shiny.
Don't trust it. Don't.
It's so
You
shiny.
find gold and don't trust it. Don't touch it.
You can see a spinning wheel there. And there's a man sitting at it. And he says, "Oh, hello, who's there?"
I'm the Pondflower Knight. What's your name?
My name is Nib. My name is Nib. I have to put on my old voice. Cover up my teeth.
Pleased to meet you, Nib.
He's a wizened old man with a blindfold, sitting at a spinning wheel, surrounded by piles of gold. And he's picking up handfuls of gold and holding it against the spinner as he sort of steps up and down, reaching it. And this gold sort of seems to be getting sucked in and creating material from the looks of it.
So changing the gold into something else.
Kind of fabric, spinning gold.
Golden fibers, yeah.
Cool.
What you doing there, Nib?
He says, "It's a sorry tale. Have you time?
Of course.
I've led a cruel and heartless existence. I earned all of these riches."
Maybe not that much time, like condensed version.
Yeah, let's go, guys.
Elbow Mavis really hard. Say,
This is all my
Ow.
money that I earned by exploiting it. Granny Nightshade has cursed me and helped me to make amends, to restitution for all of the people who I've my miserly ways of parted people from their hard-earned wealth. I told her, she always twists her promises. I told her I wanted to put my bad deeds behind me and my ill-gotten gains to good use. And so here I am, cursed, to dwell forever of this cave. However, you can help me.
Oh, yeah?
By restitution, if I spin a gift for people, when I give it willingly to you, you will then help me because it uses up this gold. And once I've used it all, my debt will be paid.
And what sort of things can you make?
Oh, well, it's an enchanted wheel I'm using here. I can. What sort of thing do you need?
Could you make a hat?
I could.
Because his friend there would really love a hat.
Well, your friend would have to come.
Oh.
No, don't worry about it. Mavis is gonna use minor illusion to create a 5-foot cube an image of Eleanor's head, 1-to-1 scale.
Right. So he's got a dummy to
that
work
right?
off.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, and I can only give one person each gift. Who is this gift for? Who is requesting this?
Oh, she's just a friend of
No.
ours. Yeah.
Her name is Eleanor. She's requesting it by proxy.
Oh,
She's the Duchess of the Three Rocks. I think it was, wasn't it?
okay.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
My curse, I don't think will work that way.
Oh, terrible.
Could you make a balloon out of gold?
Well, it would be a little one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's a lot of limitations here.
You can get away, Ungo.
Do you have any examples of things you can make?
Yeah.
Oh.
You got a brochure?
Yeah,
or
do you have
something?
like a catalog? Yeah, I got a log that
I
we can
think
peruse.
I would normally
The
just
website.
let the spinning wheel decide, but if we can just roll the dice and see what it comes out with, or if you tell me what sort of thing and I think about it, you could even hold the yarn and unwheel it as it comes. Some of your own desires may infuse the thread.
I want to ask if he can make something that'll make me sneakier.
Okay. He says, perfect. And he starts, okay. And he picks up handfuls of gold and starts, and you see this thread getting sucked into the needle, and this material starts to take form. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And he says, quick, come and hold it for me. And it's like holding a train as it comes out of this thing. And an item of clothing just is created in front of you before your eyes. And within about 10 minutes or so, you can feel an affinity with this piece of material. And eventually he says, I'm feeling it's done. My work is done. And you hold it up and there is a cloak. It's made of golden material.
Yep, golden cloaks. Classically,
Oh,
a
okay.
nice stealthy item.
Yeah.
Of
It's a
clothing.
little flashy. I'll try putting it on, though.
You put it on, and the rest of you, he almost vanishes when he puts it on. Changes its colour to match the surroundings behind it.
Oh, good invisibility.
It's not invisibility. It's a cloak of elven kind. It's more like a camouflage cloak.
Elven kind, yeah.
Put up.
Oh, that's perfect for you, Ungo.
Oh, look at this.
I'm thinking of the one from Harry Potter.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
My old tutor would be so proud.
You're looking more elvish by the day, Ungo.
That's right.
And so he says, and what about you, madam? Celeste?
I don't know. I want something. Something pretty.
Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. And he gets you to. He gets up a couple of fistfuls of this gold and starts spinning it again. An identical thing happens, but this time it's still sort of material, but it's tougher, like all joined together, not like thread. Much smaller, and eventually this amazing golden slipper comes out, and then he says, one more to go, hold on. And eventually this pair of shoes, golden shoes.
Ooh.
Yeah. There you go, Dorothy.
And
Okay, I'm gonna put them on.
Okay, you put them on. You feel
Does anything happen?
No, nothing happens. You do a bit of a catwalk type thing. Take a few steps, spin around, see if they rub anywhere. But as you do, you find there's almost like a little bit of effort to lift your foot until it breaks with the ground.
Cool.
And when you have a look underneath, and you sort of kick up to have a look at the sole of it, a frond of a fern nearby just gets sort of magnetically stuck onto your foot.
Okay, can I try, like, climbing the wall with it?
Yeah, well, you put your foot up against the wall, and then you can feel yourself sticking to the wall. And it's not like you're stuck there and you've got to hold yourself with your own strength. Gravity changes for you.
Ooh.
And you can just, like, you walk up the tree.
Look at me, guys! Look at me!
Look at you
Nice.
go. You'll be able to get back up that rope without turning into a monkey this
You've
time.
got slippers of spider climbing.
Yeah.
You've got slippers of spider climbing.
So,
Oh. Yeah, that would come in handy.
yeah.
You could already turn into a spider and climb. Maybe it's redundant.
No, but she can keep her form.
It saves the
Yeah.
wild shape. It saves the wild shape chart.
Yeah, and also, you
Yeah.
can cast spells and stuff when you're in wild shape.
No.
Not when I'm
No.
in,
Yeah.
like, again, as an
Not
animal.
as a spider, no.
So I could turn it into my
yeah.
my star shape, and
Yeah,
but
then
there's
still walk
interesting-
up walls.
Interesting thing, because it's magical item, you can have your new form keep the shoes on, so you can turn into a monkey with the shoes, and you still use them.
Well, would the spider have 8 shoes then, or?
I mean, spider wouldn't need it. But I guess you can choose which 2 spider foot you put it on.
It says equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the. So only if they can actually wear shoes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it has to have feet, and whatever size feet you have, the magical item adjusts their size.
Okay. And he starts to, I'm going to paraphrase for Phryne, who's not here. And Phryne will step up and think, I don't know, I just want to have more power as a cleric, as a spellcaster. And so he spins. He just lets the spinner see what happens there. And it doesn't take much. It's only a few coins, so he's a little bit disappointed. But she gets this golden ball. It looks a bit like the snitch, from Harry Potter. But Phryne feels it, holds it, and says, "I can feel it. I can feel a closer connection to my God." And we'll pick up with that next week, what that might be. How about you, Mavis?
I, for one, would like to hear more about the curse that you mentioned.
Oh,
Did you say you have to spend all this gold in order to be free?
I have to gift it to people.
So why go at it one item at a time?
Well, each person can have one thing, so
Or if my one thing could be the entire pile of gold?
Yeah. Is the pile one thing?
oh no, the spinning wheel's not sized for that sort of thing.
So the gold has to go through the spinning wheel.
Yes, I spin items out of gold.
Ask for a castle, Mavis.
I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the ideas I had.
How about
Mavis,
yeah?
the friend I mentioned earlier, I don't know, I'll conjure the head again. I think she would really like a hat, and your gift to me would be that hat, but I can later pass on. I imagine she would like something that really helps her focus.
Nah. Okay. Well, what we'll do, we'll assume that he spins something, and but we won't name what it is yet until we get Eleanor back.
A bonus on acting.
Sure.
That's what you want.
Sorry?
Wouldn't it be, Mav? A bonus on acting.
19 charisma. Just sets the charisma like a headband of intellect, but charisma.
Yeah, I thought maybe like I don't know what available items would be, but either a spellcasting focus or maybe something that helps with concentration on spells.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, when she gets in here, she can decide what she wants.
Mavis, while you're, rather than being sort of distracted by the gifts and things, you're sort of quizzing him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's blindfolded, so can't see. But behind him, you can see these ghostly forms, very faintly forming. There's a grubby child peering over Nib's shoulder, looking at what he's spinning, and then backs away. A gaunt coachman looming in the shadows at the back of the cave. And even further back, there's a long-faced woman dabbing tears at her with a handkerchief.
Is like a full-fledged figures or like shadows, translucent?
Translucent, yeah. Like apparitions. There's this rail-thin waif wearing an eye patch, grubby. And as quick as a candle's flicker, the apparition vanishes and another one might appear. Not really doing anything, just sort of milling around. He looks up at you and says, "You see them, don't you?"
Well, I suppose I do.
My wish was
all
to
the people
lead,
who...
My wish to the hag was to put my sins behind me. And this is what happens. I'm now taunted from behind by unseen spirits. Just thinking, looking at time before we move on. It's 10:30 now.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a good time for the break?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nicole, you said you had something that you needed to do. Is that a good time for you?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
And
so
I
like,
actually probably
30
don't need like a super long break, but if we still want to take the long one to chat, then that's good.
Yep. Okay.
I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's
Okay.
just take a break, grab a coffee or whatever you need to do, and we'll meet back with a view to kicking off shortly.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Right.
Sounds good. Yep, see you guys in a bit.
See you in a bit. Yeah, so so I'm just replaying it now. I keep getting speared, swallowed,
I get a bit more
pulled,
slippery.
dragged. Okay, all right. So he says, right, pick up a handful of gold.
Slapney will do that. Nice big
He
handful.
starts pedaling his bicycle thing, and the wheel starts spinning. Material keeps coming in, and it's similar to Celeste's. It's making that same sort of pliant but very tough stuff. And keeps going. 5 minutes later, pop! He says, "Oh, we're halfway there. It looks like it. Here, grab that for me, will you?" And you pick up, and it's this glove.
Okay.
And it's a little bit oversized for you, but it's looks like jazz hands type of thing. He says, "Oh, come on, get some more." He starts doing it again, and and it's a second glove.
Okay.
It looks like a warrior's glove, like what you would have as part of armor.
Okay.
It's not like metal; it's gold. The golden gloves.
Gold gloves. The
Yeah,
gold
and they
gloves.
come halfway up your forearm. It's pretty decent. It's not like the sort of no Michael Jackson glove here.
So he'll put them. Slapney will put them on. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone else, you see his forearms start to grow,
Popeye.
and you think, "Oh my God, we're going to have like a fiddler crab with us, with these two big arms." But it seems to spread, and his biceps grow, and he starts to. The thing is, you flap your arms around and go, "Oh my God, look at this," and you feel just as dexterous as you ever were. There's no muscle-bound, thing going on there.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, and eventually, it starts to get to his shoulders, and his shoulders grow, and so do his, deltoids, and such that it starts to go up his neck, and his chin starts to disappear in. It looks like he's...
Slapney, wait, I think you should take them off. You might be having some allergic reaction.
Yeah.
I feel swelling. I feel great.
And Slapney, they continue, and it spreads down through your torso as this six-pack goes pop, 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 pop. And suddenly your pants feel very tight, Hulk style.
Check it out, guys. Look at me.
And can you see if you've got a flippable token that you can flip for me?
How do you flip it?
You just right-click on your token.
Oh, yeah?
That super buffer endgun we saw earlier, yeah.
Is there something different about me?
I don't know, but I think like trainers will hate you for this one simple trick.
Yeah. And you
so put his hands behind his head and start
Yeah. And suddenly you're feeling strong, and so much so that you're stronger than those water ogres, or about the same strength as those water ogres. And there'll be no more.
It's got ogre strength, is what you're saying?
Yeah, particularly. Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. Gauntlets of ogre power. There we go.
I made the flippable token in anticipation.
There you go. I'll never take them off.
Well, see, the thing is, while you're attuned to them, you will keep this more buff shape, even though your strength might drop. So think of it like a custom, there's a belt of dwarven kind where if you wear it long enough, you grow a beard. So this is a similar thing. So you don't have to worry about taking your gloves off to walk into the party and suddenly changing. And I'll let you decide whether you want this beasting nature to be short-lived and you go back to your normal shape ongoing, but just be super strong. You can decide.
Oh, no, I reckon it's funny like it is. I like it.
Okay. And so you now have a 19 strength.
Yeah, or I'll put them on my character sheet. Cool.
I think most of these items you can check them out. They might take an attunement slot, but you're attuned by the nature of it.
They do, yeah, for sure.
Of it being created for you. Now, Mavis.
No, I already got a hat.
Oh.
For Eleanor.
Okay. Which she might decide to change it to something else?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
I think for Mavis's good deed, he deserves one of his own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you roll
At least get some inspiration.
Can you roll a persuasion for me, Celeste?
I'll agree to try to give her advantage.
Okay. So Sutton says, yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, hell yeah. How'd you go, Celeste? 15. Okay. He will acquiesce and say, well, it's not normally like this, so I'm not going to be making exceptions and filling a crowd full of all of your friends and relations, but I think on this instance I can do it. It looks like he's sort of breaking his own rule. You've convinced him to. He says, okay, well, if you want something that's just especially for you, I'll do that.
No, nothing in particular. Besides, doesn't that break your curse thing rules?
Sorry, something that... I missed it.
Oh, doesn't it break your curse rules?
I'm talking out of it.
I mean, I don't want a man's soul to be condemned for eternity if he just, on technicality.
Oh no, he's just says the rules is one person to one gift. So you've managed to convince him that there is this other person that does exist.
I mean, can't he see her? She's right here.
She's over there,
yeah. Yeah. The illusion.
Mavis, what about something to help you exact your vengeance?
He says, I've got an idea.
Yeah, go for it. I guess you're the artist.
Okay. You seem like a fairly arcane type. A little flamboyant,
I
perhaps,
know.
but in need of... Yeah, anyway, let's have a look. Anyway, so he starts spinning, but he needs you to be gathering it as it comes. And once again, you take the thing off as it comes. 10 minutes pass. Let's have a look. And a golden cloak appears. Much like Ungo's, it's a little bit heavier and it's got a bigger cowl. Quite dramatic, it droops down at the sides. And while Ungo's is very pale, almost white gold, this one is that rose gold colour.
Nice. Let's give it a spin.
It smells a little bit of sulphur.
I smell the voice.
Okay. You put it on. And
I do.
You can feel that you do a sort of dramatic twirl. It looks like something a wizard on a stage might have. Elaborate. And you do a twirl, and as when you sort of spin around and you open your eyes, you're looking over in somewhere else, and everyone else sees this enormous puff of smoke appear at Mavis's feet. It completely engulfs him so that he's gone. And when the smoke disappears, he's not there. And you hear a voice off into the bush where you were looking, and Mavis, you're standing there. You've teleported.
I think this warrants a timed ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. So this is made for you, and you're attuned to it straight away. The cape smells faintly of brimstone, and while wearing it, you can cast a dimension door as an action. And the property of the cape can't be used again until the next dawn. Whenever you disappear, you leave behind a cloud of smoke, and you appear in a similar cloud at your destination. So it's fairly, obvious, flamboyant sort of dimension door. Yep.
Wow.
Cape of the Mountebank.
What's the name of the item?
Cape of the Mountebank. I'll show it in the chat.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, as he walks back to the group, he will wink to Celeste and say thanks.
So you get this
No problem.
the smoke that lightly obscures the area. That's cool.
Yeah. And so, he says, well, thank you all for your gift of helping me to get 5 steps closer to my curse being ended.
Speaking of which, this doesn't really look like a well-traveled area. Well, how's your traffic, like in terms of customers?
Oh, I get creatures of the Fae coming past every so often, every few days, I suppose.
Do you have any business cards? We can.
Direct some more visitors over here. You can get rid of that gold
Yeah.
pile quicker. Some more foot traffic.
You may call me Miser Nib.
Miser Nib. Well, Slap will say, well, thank you, and shake his hand and, like, grease his hand.
Don't break his hand.
Where are you going, by way of asking?
Can you point us in the direction
Yeah.
of maybe a town or some more people?
There are no towns. There's Loom Lurch.
What now?
Loom Lurch. It's where Granny Nightshade has her factory.
Factory? What do they make in this factory?
Toys. She's a toy maker, and she has many children in her factory. A workshop.
What's her name? What's her name?
Granny Nightshade.
Oh, that's Granny Nightshade. Okay.
She delivers the creepiest toys to children on other worlds, filling their heads with nightmares. Dolls with cracked faces, clowns, Jack-in-the-boxes.
And that's the person you went to help you put your bad deeds behind you?
Well, she's very powerful and can make wishes come true.
Yes.
Wishes come true.
Well,
So
this is the thing. You have to be very careful. She made my wishes come true, but I wish to put my sins behind me and always go forwards. Never see them again. And now I'm blind, and all my sins of my past pester me from outside of my vision. Gestures to all these apparitions behind him.
Does anyone ever get anything good from her with their wishes?
I think there's always, well, I wouldn't continue to spin this gold if I didn't think it was going to end my curse still. It's just there's always a sour taste left behind. She can fly.
Yes.
She makes her deliveries on the giant flying rocking horse.
Flying monkey horse.
Wow.
If you are talking to her, you can tell her mood by how fast her key turns. She's got one poking out of her back.
Ah, like a clockwork.
What does slow and fast mean? Slow means good, or
When she's happy, it turns quickly. When she's upset, it
Okay.
turns slowly. If she ever loses her temper, the key stops turning.
oh dear. Alright. Let's keep that key turning.
So this factory, it's not in a town. It's just by itself.
She inhabits a fallen tree, the biggest tree.
Where would we find that?
Further north.
Well, is there anyone else around? I mean, there's no town, factory.
Well, there's many fey creatures. They all live here, but they basically live in the wilderness. I get visited from time to time with Will and his crew.
Ah, Will.
Will of the Feywild. She's obsessed with capturing him. Recapturing
And you get
him.
visited by him. Okay.
Recapturing him.
Recap.
Do you think would it be a good thing if he
Why
got
does she
captured?
want him?
recaptured? Yeah. Why should
Answer all the questions immediately.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay, Celeste.
Celeste.
Why does she want him?
Well, he escaped himself from Loomlurch, and he managed to break back in there. And rumor has it he formed a gang by helping a group of other younger children escape. They're a motley crew, rascals they all are. They call themselves the Getaway Gang.
The Getaway Gang.
All right. Well, let's maybe we should go find him.
He's protected by Little Oak, a living tree.
Okay. What do you think of him? What do you think of this young scamp?
Oh, he's a laugh. I like to hear the stories of their antics.
So you think it's a good thing that he's not being locked up?
Oh, well, you know.
Let's try and find Will.
What are we going to do when we find him, though?
I can't leave this cave. My curse prevents it, but I can point you in the direction of Little Oak.
Okay.
That will be helpful. A quick question though: those kids, do they have shadows?
I believe. I don't know. It's an odd question.
Yeah, you would think that, but it happens more than it should.
Do you have incisors?
Right, Unga?
Do you have incisors?
Absolutely.
Well, if you find anyone else, what you're asking for is Little Oak. Little Oak's Glade.
Right.
And he gave us a direction.
Yes, and he points north. Let me see, northwest.
Okay.
In fact, he can do it almost from memory, and he draws a sort of egg shape on the ground, and says, "You're about the bottom down here." And he feels it a little bit, and then he says, "And Little Oak is about here, and Loomlurch is up here a little bit," and draws a few landmarks that he knows.
Cool.
So much so that I'll pass you to a map that you can then have a squiz at.
A squiz?
Yeah. Can you see this resolving, or do I have to paste your figures on there? I'll do it anyway.
Where are we?
So that would be the little.
Oh, remember, Little Oak walks around. So Little Oak is probably over here somewhere.
What are these
they're-
circles of mushrooms?
Oh, they're just for decoration, but there's many fair campestry rings throughout.
Okay.
They go to other worlds.
Ah. There's like fey crossings.
Almost like it could be a fairy circle.
Yeah.
So the fallen tree over here is probably where we want to head, isn't it?
That's the loon lurch factory.
Yeah, eventually. But I think it would be prudent to find those kids. It seems they're at odds with her.
What's your idea when we find them? What's our idea? We want to capture him and take him back. Is that what we want to do?
I was thinking more the opposite.
Yeah, let's find him and join his cause, basically, or have him join our cause.
More like that.
I mean, I don't know, but the kid certainly knows his way in and out of the place.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, talk to him and get some information and then make some decisions. I got a couple questions about these landmarks that he remembers and put on the map, though.
Yep.
Such as this sort of lake with something in the middle of it.
The Wayward Pool. It's the only real large-size water feature, and many creatures go there to drink.
Okay, and then there's like a beam of light coming out of a... Is that where we are? Out of this mountain? Oh, what is that?
It's got a hole in it with a light shining through, man.
Yeah, it's like a beam of light coming out of a mountain.
I'm not sure. I think that's... I think there's a lair there of some flying nasties, creatures.
And there's some floating stuff up here as well. Some floating.
Yeah.
Yeah, mystical things seem to happen around the place, and normal physics seems to get broken every now and then.
Okay.
Physics in the Feywild is pretty much controlled by the whim of the rulers.
All right. Looks good.
But yeah, Loon Lurch is definitely over towards the edge. It's the largest tree in the forest, and I hear from my visits from some of the forest creatures that she's done a bit of a crusade to cut down all the trees.
Oh, that's horrible. Let's get her.
To cut down all the trees.
I like trees.
Why would you? Yeah, me too. Why would she want to cut down all the trees?
I don't know.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, where do you fellas think timber comes from?
Yeah, but you don't have to cut down all the
You have to
all
plant
the
more.
Gotta be responsible.
I don't know, maybe she has some big building project. I don't know.
She's gonna replant all the trees too. I want to cut down and replant every.
Well, shall we kind of start making our way north then?
Can we follow this river, maybe?
Yeah, so we want to go like over here, right? Is that where the kid is?
Yes.
I mean, the kid's hideout is moving around, so we will have to be on the lookout for a walking tree.
Maybe go up to the water and then follow the water. And at some point, we can ask for directions, maybe at the pond, unless we run into this walking guy.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Sorry, sounds good.
All right. I'm gonna grab everyone then, and we'll move off the map. I think I've got this as a handout, so I'll find that and share it anyway, so that way you can always open it and look at it at your leisure.
That's much better than my little scribble drawing I did.
Oh, am I missing a? Where's Celeste here? I need to flip you back.
Celeste is the last.
I'm a cat right now, but not
Is
actually.
that?
No,
It's a
no.
cat.
That's a cat.
Well, the token was from the cat. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Oh.
All right. So you start heading north, following the way as far as you can, trying to make your way. You're doing a lot of twisting and turning. It's not the sort of terrain where you can, easily just march off in a certain direction.
Although if you have someone who's well versed in traversing forest, they might guide us so that it isn't necessarily difficult terrain for us.
Yes. Anyone going at the front? The survival's the key.
I'll be happy to
I'm a
go.
wood elf.
Oh yeah, yep.
We
Wood elf.
got a wood elf, a ranger, and Ungo. I think we should be able to figure this out.
Okay, so you're very well equipped. So if you've got your druid... Oh, what have I done there? Crikey. Doubled up.
Oh no, the witch sends doppelgangers.
Some of these are pre-level up and some post. We have to find out which is which. Well, I can tell by hit points.
Oh, I didn't update mine, so...
Okay, so Celeste, as the druid / elf of the party, you're up there. And then there's Ungo, Slapney, Mavis. Can we tell which one is you? 31 and 31? No?
This one should be.
What about you, Celeste? What's your maximum hit points currently? Or now?
It's 27, so whichever one you keep, I'll update it.
Okay.
For maybe it's 31. I updated on one and it changed on both of them.
Okay. All right, cool. Sorry, bit of bookkeeping there. Okay, you carry on for a couple of hours and come across a creature up ahead, and it looks like it's got the body of a horse, but it's got a human torso coming up from it, and it's sort of limping. It's got a long beard, grey, and has a long staff that it's using to keep some of its weight.
Can we make a nature check to recognise what it is?
Yeah, you would recognise it. You would all know it as a centaur.
Yeah. I know it's a centaur, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is all the characters would know.
Yep. All right.
I mean, this is kind of a dilemma. So when a centaur has a lame leg, do you just shoot their horse part? Or do you put out the entire thing out of his misery?
Well,
Maybe we should
unlike the
check on
horse,
him
the centaur
first.
can use a cane with his arms.
Yep. He looks across at you, looks a little bit tired.
Just go over to him with their hands up. Say, hey, what's going on?
He
What's
says,
wrong?
well met.
Not to him. Say, well met to you too.
Oh, well met.
He looks off into the distance and turns
Is
back
everything
to you.
okay?
He says, you should leave this place.
Yep, that's the plan.
You can see he's got cataracts in his eyes forming.
Do you need help with something?
Do you need us to help you cross the road? Or...
He says, I'm beyond help.
Ah. Don't be like that. Why are you telling us to leave? Why do you think we should leave?
He says, only the strong survive. This realm is fading.
I'm pretty strong now.
Some flexes.
The taint of the hags will eventually destroy this realm. It'll fold in upon itself and be gone.
Wow.
Well, we're here to stop that.
Yeah, maybe we need to get rid of the hags.
Yeah.
Get rid of
What
the
I've been
hag.
saying all along.
He looks a little bit bemused.
Tell us where the nearest hag is and we'll go take care of
He says,
it.
my name is Winterbrow. What is your group called?
Did we settle on take backsies or?
I forget
I
which
mean, that
one.
was before Slapney and Eleanor joined, so.
Yeah, I don't remember having
Maybe-
that conversation. Stanley just looked at
Now,
you
if
guys.
we actually decided on one, but
No.
there was a lot of good options that I'm
Okay.
okay with.
Okay. He says, well, in any case, nameless ones.
We are the placeholder. Placeholders.
They are to be determined.
Yeah, to be announced.
I had a clan. Half of them are now corrupted. And
By the hag?
are rampaging through the countryside. Closing doors, closing escape routes. The rest of
Okay.
my clan has
What
galloped
about the other
away,
half? Sorry?
safely, but before the mists envelop Prismea. He talks as if there's one realm, Prismea, not this fractured three-realm place.
Mm-hmm.
But
We
of
knew
course,
that already, right?
only the strong
Yeah, yeah.
survive, and I'm beyond my prime now and couldn't keep up with the herd.
So what's going to happen?
I did not have.
Yeah, what's going to happen to you now then?
Well, I guess my fate will be tied to whatever happens to this land, unless I can make it to the edge and out in time.
I don't know about the edges. How do you feel about climbing ropes?
My client don't climb. And
I mean, given the appendages, can you climb a rope?
I mean, Slappity is super strong. We can just tie a rope to him and pull him
Someone
up.
can put him on my shoulder, I'll pull him up.
he looks at you and says no.
I think he's too big
Okay,
for the basket.
I mean,
You
we can
mentioned
hoist him up
portals.
from below.
You mentioned portals out of here, that they're closing them. Are there any nearby that we could help you get to before they close it so you can get out?
There could be, actually. But my eyesight's not much. If you could be my eyes for a time, keep an eye out and keep an ear out, more importantly.
We can do that.
Guys, do you think we should do it? I think we should.
Well, maybe. Hey, mister, we're looking for, what's it called? Little Oak? Little Oak's Glade? Do you know where that is?
Little Oak's Glade is over by the Wayward Pool.
Uh-huh.
You should.
Correct.
And what about is that the walking tree, Little Oak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, gotcha, yep, okay.
The Wayward Pool's that lake.
If you
Is
go
that,
to
are you going that way? Could we all go together?
We could go together for a time. If you listen and you hear campestry singing, that's what we're listening for.
Okay, that sounds great. Let's go with him and we can help each other.
You could talk to Lamorna at the Wayward Pool if you're going to go to Little Oak as well. They're near one another.
Said Lamorna?
Lamorna?
What's that?
Lamorna's the unicorn that lives in the lake.
Ah.
Oh, Lamorna the unicorn.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
what's the order of business? We go to the watering hole, talk to Lamorna, or are we escorting the senile, wounded Minotaur to nearest exit point?
well,
It
at the
sounds like
moment
it's
it's the
on the
same
way.
thing. Yeah, at the moment it's
It's
the
on the
same
way.
thing. So,
Okay.
go as far as that goes, and then we'll work out what happens next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ungo always wanted to see a unicorn.
Okay, you go along, and you find another poster.
Go up and read it.
And it is also looking for wanted Will of the Feywild, and it's got the same sort of picture, although it's hand drawn and looks a little bit different.
Okay. Say to what's the centaur's name again?
Winterbrow.
Winterbrow.
Mm.
Do you know where this guy is? Will?
Will?
Yeah.
Well, they get around all over the place. Too quick for
Where
me.
was the last? Okay. You haven't seen him recently?
No.
No?
Nib said he would be with Little Oak.
Yeah. I think Will's being protected by Little Oak.
So,
Well, at least, yeah. He may not actually be there, but we can. That's our lead.
It's more like a base of operations, I guess.
Yeah, that's our lead.
This
What
makes
do you-
this makes another promise. This one says, "This sorry wretch stole from me. Deliver him to me alive and unharmed. I'll give you back 10 years of your youth."
Hmm. Who's it? Is it signed by somebody?
Yeah, Granny Nightshade.
Okay.
hey, Winterbrow, what do you think of Will?
They're too intense for me.
Intense. The intensity of youth.
You do not want to talk to Mavis then. That's a compliment, Mavis.
Maybe it's just gonna flip his hands. I don't know what you're talking about.
You all continue on as you're having these chats, and eventually you hear some voices singing. Voices, it sounds like little high squeaky voices.
Is that
Is
what you
that
were
the
listening
singing
for?
we're listening for?
Yeah.
He says, "I don't hear anything."
Well, let's walk
I hear
towards it a
singing.
little bit. Maybe he'll hear it.
My hearing's not what it
I'll
used to be.
I'll use what's it called minor illusion to amplify the sound next to his ears.
Cool. There you go.
He says, that sounds like it could be it."
Do we go near it or away from it?
We should approach with caution.
Yeah, let's go.
Some of these,
All right.
some of
I can
these-
approach with caution. I'm good at that.
Okay. Some of these have been corrupted by my kin.
So if we run into your kin, we shouldn't assume they're as friendly as you.
No. In fact, if you meet
Okay.
any of my kin, you should assume they're not. The
Okay.
the good ones, the wise ones, have left.
And how are you going to feel if it gets physical with some of your people?
Well, I've had my own run-ins with some of them.
Gotcha.
So it looks to you like, while there might be gout and, hips that have got problems, he's still a powerfully built centaur with a lot of experience. It's sort of like going close to an old dog. If you get close enough, it could be a bit of a problem.
Gotcha.
And you guys can hear this singing, and you see this ring of what look like mushrooms. There's hundreds of them, all springing, all in a bit of a ring. Lots of tiny ones as well, but the largest of them seem to be sort of pulsing, and then they sway to and fro.
Is what you're looking for? Mr. Winterbrow?
This sounds like it. And you can hear that you can hear them, and they look and they're singing something like I found a shell and put it in my pocket.
Okay. He seemed like he felt like we should be cautious. There might be somebody
My job is to make college easy.
Potentially dangerous.
Did you hear an ad just come on then?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a good idea to scout the perimeter of the clearing and see where you're at.
One of the heads of these mushrooms tilts, and then it spins around, and these two cuts in it open up, and there's little shiny black eyes, and then it smiles. Hey!
Oh.
We've got friends.
Hi, how are you going? Mushroom.
We're going great.
And is it them that's singing?
Hey?
Or well, who's singing? Is it
the singing is coming from the mushrooms?
The mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay.
Sure.
And you listen for a moment. Rather than me try to sing it.
So, I mean, does he need us to do something? Like, he's here.
Come on.
Not sure what we're waiting for exactly.
Join in.
Okay.
And they're all singing.
When the talking singing mushroom invites you, just go, I guess.
And they all
just shrug.
Crack on singing. I won't play it all. Yeah, so Mavis, you go in and join in.
Yeah. I just want to have whatever they are having.
Yeah.
Yes, that will go join in.
They've got sunshine in their pocket. And they look at you. They've got quite a blank face. The love for singing is obvious. And they say, "Can you teach us a new song?"
Oh, yeah. Definitely. He would take out his lute and, let's say, play Moonlight Sonata, third movement.
Okay. All right. Can you give us a performance check? They all go quiet and rapt. All their mouths are open.
Can we give him advantage by helping him somehow at all? Or?
Yeah, you could try and instrument. You can try and do that.
Oh, he's done pretty well anyway. But yeah,
okay.
If you want to go for a crit.
Yeah.
Well, so he sings it, and they go, "Whoa, awesome!" I don't know why I'm putting on an American accent. Sorry, our American viewers, awesome. And they say,
"Tubular."
Oh, and they urge everyone to join in and dance along because they start to move with whatever your music that you're doing.
For reference, if anyone wants to look it up, I recommend Moonlight Sonata, third movements by Tina S on YouTube. That's exactly what I imagine Mavis is doing, using a minor illusion to use as a distortion for the lute.
Did you say midnight?
Moonlight Sonata.
Moonlight Sonata.
Yes, performed by Tina S, I think, is the guitarist.
Got it. Celeste, you just missed out on the mushrooms all singing a Pharrell Williams Happy.
Yes.
And Mavis is busting out Moonlight Sonata, third movement by Tina Rance on his
Okay,
lute.
Celeste is going to dance.
On his lute.
Yeah. Suddenly you'll join in. He'll join in dancing.
They all start headbanging to it.
Headbanging in Mozart. Sorry, Beethoven? Is that Beethoven?
Beethoven, yeah.
All right. And they love it. Performance 19. And they say, oh, play us another one. And it looks like they'll have you there all day. But they say, let's see. One of them sort of says, come over here, you can have some of my spores. And they sort of shake, and all this shower of spores falls down. You say, sniff that. Mavis gets down and sniffs the spores on around this mushroom, and suddenly everything is exactly as it is that you see it. You look at Celeste and go, whoa, a shapeshifter.
True sight.
Okay.
You look over at Slapney and see this pale, skinny elf in a sort of shadowy form of an enormous buff guy.
Okay.
And effectively, you've now got true sight.
Cool. Anything from ethereal plane in sight?
Nothing except the ring is intensely magical. Transmutation.
Intense magical.
Yep.
Transmutation, okay. Okay, guys. I don't say it lightly, but you gotta try this stuff.
Winterbrow says, I need a wand.
Sorry, what?
I need a wand. Are there any straight sticks around here?
Celeste is by a tree. She'll see if she can grab a stick.
Okay, so you strip off the leaves and grab a stick, and it's about a baton sized, and hand it over to Winterbrow. And he says, right. And he sort of slowly trots over to the mushroom ring, and then he starts clip-clopping anti-clockwise. And he holds the wand above his own head, and he says, 3 turns widdershins, off we go. And he clip-clop, 3 turns widdershins, off we go. And he keeps on doing it around and around and around. And at the 3rd turn, he goes translucent. The ground goes completely black in the circle, and then he gets sucked into the ground, and then he's gone.
Bye, Winterbrow.
I mean, that's kind of
You're
English,
welcome.
wasn't it?
All right. Yeah, he didn't even say goodbye.
You say thank you.
See you, bro.
Old people, they just
I'm
take
gonna ask-
everything for granted.
All
I'm gonna
right,
ask
well,
the mushrooms if they have any more of those spores.
Oh, have you got any songs?
Okay,
Mavis,
for the
help me
next,
out.
yeah, for the next one, Mavis is gonna play. What was it? Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. So you bust out. Give us another performance roll, Mavis.
Just a second. Even better.
All right. Oh, look at that. 22. 19 for the first one. Okay, so you bust out some purple haze, and the crowd goes wild. And one of them gets so excited that they just drop their spores.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some in.
Oh, how embarrassing.
Do you mind if we save some for later?
That song was so good, I lost my faculties.
Happens to the best of us.
Yes.
Hey, does anybody have a bottle to bottle some up?
Yeah, so I'll ask if they mind if we have some for later.
Oh, no. No, they think it's a bit strange. They would normally snort their spores straight away.
Where they're fresh.
Yeah, does it have like a time limit, or do you get like unlimited true sight?
They'll probably be too old within a couple of days, I would say. They need to be fresh, but they should last a couple of days.
Well,
and you're
because it's under nothing, right?
And seeing everything as it truly is, seeing the truth, that would last many hours.
Okay. So that's a nice long, smooth ride.
Yeah. And so you've got 1 packet of true sight dust.
Cool. Yes, Celeste, you wanted to add to your inventory?
You could just make a note of it somewhere
Nicole?
on the character sheet, Celeste. There's no
Okay, just put the.
there's no magic item or anything that in a list somewhere. It's just like a spell scroll with true sight on it. But
when you click in, you can click inventory and add custom item, then just type the name and that's it.
Perfect. I have a bunch of stuff under my other possessions. Everything that we've gotten of stuff there.
The only thing is it's like a spell scroll with true sight, but it's just got a use by date. Okay. So, Mr. Centaur, you're off. Ungo, gather around everyone. We'll move on. 11:46, so we'll be closing shortly. Now, who's at the front again? That was Celeste. Celeste, can you do a survival roll for me? I'm trying to find your way here.
With advantage because true sight?
Yes, yep. Sure. Have 2 rolls, Celeste. Oh, 24.
Much better.
Okay. So you make good time getting through here, and finally come to a glade that is dominated by a single tree. And I'm going to move us to a different map. There we go. That should be resolving now.
Yep.
And you, it opens into a clearing with, and you can hear children, happy voices.
That's good.
And I think you can probably see the bough of a huge tree and walkways and things spiraling up it.
Yep.
I might even have a handout for you. Yeah, there we go. Show to players. Show to everyone.
Aww.
And you can see that this giant tree is moving slightly, and there's swings and climbing ropes and things. You can hear kids playing. They frolic around a leafy oak tree, and their gleeful yelps are carrying through the forest. There's painted swings dangling from its branches, and nestled in the crown of the tree is a sort of ramshackle treehouse. And as you approach, one of the kids at least spots the group, if not people at the front, or some of you that are a bit more camouflaged. But they say, "Hey, people, strangers!" And the word spreads pretty quickly, and the children all scamper up ladders or take cover within the treehouse. And eventually this youth comes out and stands on the front balcony and barks down at you. Points. "Stand down or face merry hell."
Who's Mary Hell?
Mary.
Also, how do you stand down?
Put our hands up and say, "We mean no harm."
Friends.
Yet?
Okay. He sort of looks at you quizzically.
"We're looking for Will."
"That be me!" And he thumbs his chest.
We'll say, "Will, it's your lucky day because we found you before the other people that were looking for you did."
Who?
"Well, there's some people looking for you. There's wanted posters up everywhere looking for you."
Ah, Granny. She'll never
Granny's
catch
looking
me.
for you.
She'll never catch me.
Why don't you invite us up so we can talk more?
And you see this, because you're looking up, there's the platform. I don't know why I'm gesturing at the camera here. But there's a platform and he's standing on it. But of course you're below, so you don't quite see the platform itself. But you can see two black ears come up. And what looks like a black dog or cat or something, some sort of, four-legged creature sort of pokes up, and you see eyes look down, and Will looks down and says, "What do you think? Should we let him up?" And he says, "Okay, come on up."
Mavis would like to take out a mirrored bowl
Yep.
that he was given by the displacer beast
Yep.
and the carnival.
Okay.
I don't remember. Did the cup have a name that I was given?
It was many years ago.
Yeah.
You've got the ball. What do
Yeah.
you want to
I'll
do
just
with it?
raise it up and I'll call out to the cup.
Okay.
Little one, I think your mother is looking for you.
Okay. And as soon as you lift it up, it sort of glints off the light. It's highly polished, chrome ball, and you hear this an excited sort of feline voice, and you see there's two flapping tentacles waving around ecstatically like those inflatable blower men at the front of shops. And very quickly, this tiny 8-legged cat with tentacles comes springing from bough to bough to bough, bouncing down. He says, "What? Huh? You know them?" And Will sort of swings across to a thing and goes sliding down a rope. And kids all come racing down ladders and out from bushes and stuff. And this displacer beast cub comes over to you and grabs the she's trying to get at the ball.
So I'll give it to
Okay.
her. I don't know.
Yep. She catches it in the two tentacle flappers and then starts tossing it backwards and forwards and batting it like a cat with a ball of wool. I'll find you I'll find you a handout.
I guess the explanations can wait until she tires herself out. And Mavis is going to address the kid. Look, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to explain, but I just had some weird mushroom spores. I'm starving, and I could really enjoy myself some imaginary dinner, if you have some.
Right. Okay.
Just some imaginary cake, imaginary potatoes, anything.
Well, they invite you up for some tea.
Tea, okay.
Yep. When this tea they make out of flowers and honey, and they pretty much live off it.
Okay.
And you get to come upstairs, and you get to meet some of the rest of the gang. There's quite a few kids running around, but there's probably 4 of his main gang members. And he says, "There's 4 of us. Me, Will, O the Feywild. I'm the gang's leader. This is Bobby." And you're introduced to a boisterous male dwarf with just the very first hint of whiskers. This is Sloane, and there's this sort of ginger-haired wood elf girl, and she's got it's really wavy, almost curly, and she's got it over her face, and she sort of flicks it off to one side. And this is Zenor, and there's a tenacious-looking half-orc, looking crossed arms, looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
They all look to be about 8 years old, as in 8-year-old human children, obviously. Dwarves and elves will be older than that. So, what are you going to do?
And so, did they invite us up?
Yeah. You're all up there. You can climb up the rope ladders easily.
All right. Well, why do you think they're looking for you, Will? Why is Granny looking for you?
I just gave her a bloody nose. She doesn't want any kids thinking that they can escape, and I escaped. I showed it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Do all the kids there want to escape?
Well, if they don't, they should.
Maybe we should help them all escape. What do you think about that?
That would be the best. If we could join forces, we could do the great escape.
Oh, yeah.
Great escape sounds like a lot of fun. What's the plan?
I don't know. Well, actually, she has tin soldiers, a whole squad of them. They defend Loom Lurch, but...
Tin soldiers?
Tin soldiers, yeah. They march around. But they're easily lured away by distractions. If we can cause enough of a ruckus...
Oh, yeah.
That's where we come in. Us kids are really good at ruckuses. How are you at being sneaky?
If the rumors are true, you're just snacking by once by yourself.
So you guys would draw away the tin soldiers, and we could then...
That's how good.
It'll be pretty much empty after that.
But if the rumors are true, you're just snuck into the place once by yourself to free the other kids.
Yes.
Is there any particular pathway you took?
The legend is real. I snuck in through the window by myself. They've barred that now. Every time we have to come up with a different plan. Problem is, they're being held in a workshop haunted by boggles.
Boggles?
Boggles.
When a child has a nightmare, a boggle is born.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do you know how to defeat these boggles? Do they have any weaknesses?
Stout blow to the neck. Ha!
Yeah. So let's come on.
But
Don't you know murder solves all your problems?
But they're very good at finding sneaky ones. They can smell you out.
Oof. Okay. Noted. So we heard there's a taint. Do you know anything about a taint from the hags? A hag's taint?
Wait, what? Hag taint?
Yeah.
No.
This centaur we met, Winterbrow, he told... land for you?
No.
No? Okay. Maybe the unicorn will know a bit more about that.
The Wayward Pool.
Yeah.
We should pay a visit to there.
Yeah, we were thinking about defeating this hag, so we can't, ruin everything all the time for everybody. Her and her sisters.
Yeah.
And Sloane says, nah, she's just a no good goody-goody. And then
No
Bobby,
good goody-goody?
Yeah, Bobby says, yeah, goody two-shoes.
How can you be a no good goody-goody?
And then Xenor says, snitches get stitches.
Is she good or not, or no good?
Too good. But
Too good, so she's no good.
She's too scared to challenge Granny Nightshade.
Uh-huh.
So she'll probably tell Granny Nightshade that you're there.
Oh, I don't know about that. We've been there before, but she's just not interested in joining the fight.
Okay.
But she might have some information that we need.
Oh, maybe. Talk, bat.
What about this tree? We're in Little Oak. Little Oak is intelligent. Can Little Oak talk?
Little Oak talks quite slowly though, and the whole tree that you're in just moves a little. You're in Little Oak right now.
Yeah. I guess, is it a treant?
Yeah.
Or,
basically.
Okay.
Very large one.
Well, the treant should have some ideas about what's wrong with the forest and how to cure it, right?
I guess. There's a problem. Only unicorns can visit and would see Lamorna. You have to be a unicorn to go there.
There are lots of unicorns?
Well, no. There was two.
Oh.
She had a mate, but we don't know where the other one is.
I don't understand. How can you have talks to her and know how she feels about things if only unicorns?
We're Trixie, and he says, Bobby, go get it. And they go and get out this, like, a farcical horse outfit for two people.
Paid my horse.
And I say, and she says, we'll lend you this unicorn outfit. And if you wear that to the Wayward Pool, Lamorna will appear.
Ungo just has his face in his hand.
I'll do it, but I'm going at the front. Well,
there's a
pool. So you can turn into an animal, can't you? Can you do a unicorn?
I doubt it.
No. It's a
what about a horse?
It's a celestial. It's not a beast.
Yeah.
Just a horse.
That's my second question. Can you do a horse?
Can you do a horse?
Yeah, you can do a horse.
Can I turn into a horse?
Yeah.
I've got a carrot here. We can stick it to your head.
Yeah. We can do that.
I have a similar idea. So Mavis has a what's it called? Disguise kit. So
Okay.
you fashion a fake unicorn and like a super glue it to your forehead.
Okay.
But you guys, you'll have to tell her that I don't talk because I won't be able to speak English. Just horse.
Okay, it will be a mute unicorn.
Maybe we could all dress up and go in. Like we could go in. Like you could go in like that. A couple of us could go in there.
Yes.
In there.
So the outfit for the two people, is it for two regular sized people or for two children?
It'd be bigger. It's very baggy on the kids, but that's just for freedom of movement. Two adult humans could wear it.
Okay. Hopefully with the disguise kit, I could try to patch it up a little bit to make it more convincing.
Yeah, it does. Even as it is, with it all saggy around us, we probably look more like an elephant than a unicorn, but it worked.
Okay.
Okay, so Slapney is front, I'll be back, and Ango will be the head.
You got my shoulders on there. Awesome.
Okay, so we've got 2 characters. We've got 4 here tonight. 2 characters are going to wear the outfit. One on the back, one on the front.
No, 3. I'll have Ango on my shoulders at the front, and then Mavis will be at the back.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, so the 3 of you are in this horse outfit, and Celeste is transformed into a horse, but with the disguised unicorn horn.
The carrot at the front.
Okay. Now they say we can't go because we're out of the outfits, but we can take you to. It's not far away to the Wayward Pool. In the middle of the island, in the middle of the lake, there's an iron bowl, and it's filled with. It'll be filled with fresh coals, and you can summon the unicorn by lighting a fire in the bowl.
All right. Before we go anywhere, I want to talk to Little Oak.
Okay.
I'm also not going to turn to a horse till we get close.
No.
I can only stay as
that's
a horse for 2 hours.
Because within our group, we got a lot of people who are concerned about nature.
Yep.
And we heard that Granny Nightshade once cut down all the trees of the forest.
Yeah.
And surely this would concern Little Oak.
It concerns me.
Yeah.
What can we do to help stop that?
You got any ideas?
Drive.
Or anything you can offer to help us stop
Drive the hag away.
it? Uh-huh. Okay. Would that... Yeah, can you offer any aid or any boards or anything to help with our quest to save the forest?
Yeah, he says, her loom lurch is warded. I won't carry on the voice or I'll die. Loom lurch is warded, so he can't approach in the sort of deforested area. But if you come running, followed by many tin soldiers or whatever, as soon as you get past him, he will, cover your escape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And going into Little Oak's treehouse, where they usher you inside off the balcony, you can see it's covered with blankets, cushions, piles of straw. There's a basket with apples and berries and sugar cane, crumples up sheets of paper. There's in one corner is a oil can looking a bit out of place, and heaped in another corner is a crude unicorn costume with polka dots. And a horse's head that has a wooden horn attached to it, just the head. So I said, if one of you wants to just wear the head and walk in, that might work too. That might.
I love the idea of 3 of us going inside a pet.
Yeah. Oh, but Friday might need to wear the head.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Okay, we have a plan. Let's see, there's heaps of rolled up wanted posters. All those parchments are all just wanted Will of the Feywild, wanted, blah, blah, blah. They seem to collect them.
Okay.
And this this oil can, as you come in to sit down, just levitates off the ground and starts bouncing around the place.
Yeah, that looks like some kind of
Oil can.
building code violation.
It says, hey, are you going to Loomlatch?
Maybe.
Probably.
Can you get me some boggle oil? I'm
Possible.
out.
Some boggle oil. How do you get boggle oil?
Scrape it off their skin. They secrete it.
Can I do it on a dead one?
If you prefer it that way, I guess. I don't.
Okay. How do you normally get your boggle oil? How do you normally get boggle oil?
Oh, they just leak it into a bucket.
What? For what purpose does one use a boggle oil?
It's fuel for me, for my energy.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we can do that.
Sounds like a captive boggle would be a better fuel source.
Oh yes, you could milk it.
Have a boggle farm. You
But
can
it
build
just,
your boggles.
it's like sweat to their boggles. Boggles sweat boggle oil. Don't try to grapple them. Doesn't work.
Oh, noted.
They shoot out like when you try to crush a goldfish in your fist. Not me, I've got no hands.
Okay. Whatever.
Great. I think we have a plan.
We do have a plan. Uncle wants to see if they have any spare arrows, because I haven't resupplied my arrows since we got to the Feywild.
They don't, but if you want to take a little bit of time and ask them to go and ferret you some, they could find you the right size of straight sticks and things enough to, if you wanted to take a day or so.
It's just when we have time. I have some extra. I just thought it might be a good opportunity.
Okay.
I'm okay with when we get back doing the same thing, because we can never have too many arrows.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll leave it there. It's gone past our 4-hour mark. Good session. You've made it all the way through Thither. Got some.
I was just thinking, if we're going to be dressed up as unicorns, I have got my daughter's My Little Pony Tales of Equestria role-playing game here we could do instead of Dungeons and Dragons next
There
time.
we go. Yeah. Or if you've got.
I thought you were going to say she had a costume you were going to wear to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see what I can dig up there.
You've got your unicorn onesie.
Yeah.
All right. And you've made touch with allies. Oh, there we go. Tales of Equestria. Tales as in tails, AI.
Yeah, that's it.
And you've got a good ally here in the Getaway Gang and a Trant. And a few leads for some potential others with the Wayward Pool. There's a bit of a plan from the sounds of things. An approach, a distraction, which the Getaway Gang will perform, and then while the distraction's going on.
And the oak is going to provide cover for if we get chased?
Yes, yeah. Little Oak's got your back. It's clearly, sounds like Will's plans are a little bit sketchy, and he clearly likes to just, live by the seat of his pants and see how things unfold. But, that's how we roll. But we'll pick that up for next week. It might be Wayward Pool first, and then, if that's where you're going first, before you head on over.
Perfect.
It's a little.
And if we haven't got a party name, my suggestion for the party name would be Boggle Oil. Once we're finished here, I think it's a good name for party.
All right. Okay. Well, I will stop recording now, and looking forward to a fortnight today.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Thanks very much.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Yeah. Bye.